Hello!
Evening.
It's Mel. It's Jace. It's Thursday. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what I'm doing tonight because I've just finished something and I've got nothing else to start yet, so I'm sort of in limbo. But I do know what we're doing, and that's we're saying hello to everyone here. So let's do the shout out. I see Max, Insane Commander, Gary, Rick, Metal, Xavier. How would you say that?
Or Shasho.
I don't want to sort of try and put a slang on it because I always sound like I'm taking the piss.
You'll sound Jamaican or Irish when you do it.
Yeah, that's not good. OGA, 28, Tim.
Do you know these you want? Mr. Chang.
Mr. Chang from now on, yeah, that's what we're going to call him. We got James, Ice Dragon, John. Oh God, it's jumping. Yeah, John, Mark, Rick.
Said Rick.
I sometimes repeat them, you know. See, that could be if that's
Steve Smallworld. I think we said that one.
Yeah, Steve Smallworld. Yeah, we got those. There's people here. Hello, folks. Right, Thursday. I'm sort of at a loss, to be perfectly honest, guys. Yeah, because I've come into the studio. I've just finished filming a video. It was a very good video, wasn't it?
Very good video. Wait till you see it.
They're going to like it, aren't they?
Oh, a lot.
Should we show them?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
He's cruel, isn't he? Yeah. Oh,
tune into the next episode. You told me before. I said let's all set it up. Let's get it looking beautiful, and you said no. Keep them waiting.
Oh,
come on! Oh. Putting under the peer pressure of people being there.
I just want to show it off now. I know it's worked. And actually, to be truthful, I kind of screwed up a bit, and you're going to have to wait for the video to see how I screwed up. But I did screw up, didn't I?
Royally.
Royally screwed. But yeah, it's one of these that I've sort of kind of managed to save it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can we vote Jace off? You can try. Put me in timeout.
I don't think we can vote Jace off. We haven't got a voting system. So, So yeah, Mel, why not make those pumpkin patch and scarecrow? Because it's that's part of the medieval series, and I'll have to deal with that when I do the medieval series.
Or Halloween.
Oh yeah, Halloween.
The Halloween special.
We should do something.
I've got something gaming-wise planned for Halloween.
Have you? What have you got planned?
Yeah. Well, you know I'm big into my zombies.
Yeah.
I like my zombies.
He does like his zombies. We're getting a bit close.
I like my zombies. I'm feverishly building terrain at the moment.
Are you?
Bit like your, obviously not a patch on your zombie board, but something similar, because a few years ago, I created my own zombie game just for the War Games Club, and we've played it every year since.
Alright, so it's become a bit of a tradition.
We've loved it. Well, I've got a new and improved version this year.
A new and improved version?
Yeah, so we might, if you're up for it, have a game in here.
Yeah.
Get the boys in.
Yeah.
A four-way game in here, and then perhaps get you and Corb to the club, and we'll take some pictures, and you can play it in a bigger.
Well, if we get the boys in here, I'll get Dan to switch the lights off halfway through the game, cut the electric. Because there's no daylight in here, they'll shit themselves.
And then have somebody standing out the door. Oh. Yeah, we'll soon see if they're men or boys then.
Yeah. Right, Metal, we're going to be streaming probably till about 10:30 as our usual, innit? Yeah, 10:30, I reckon. I thought all these shows for Halloween. Oh, James! Dude, Braggy! How do, dude? Long time no see.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah. Make something with a swamp feel. Oh, that's a whole different adventure. Yeah.
Raphael from Brazil's in.
Raphael.
Nice to see you again.
See, I could work on my Burma stuff, but I'd need to film as I do it, because I'd need to include it as part of the... Which is just sort of... Do you know what? I wonder if I could... I don't really want an airbrush, because there's jungle on the floor. There's jungle on the floor. There's a bit of jungle on the floor. You see, that's
what... Just going to do some deforestation.
Deforestation.
There we go.
Yeah, throw it on that shot.
Jungle on the floor.
You know me, always a busy man. I know you're a busy man, Braggy. You are one of the busiest terrainiacs I know. So yeah, I'm at sort of a loss. So first off, while I figure out what I'm going to do, we need to decide what Jace is going to do, because Jace has got three possible, three boxes. He's got 3 boxes, but it's 2 broad themes, and he's either working for himself or he's working for his son. Yeah, so Jace, over to you. Explain, because I know what they're going to vote for.
So,
you know what they're going to vote for.
But we'll let them have a choice. We're going to give you the choice this week. Woo.
Can we call Jace Agent Orange now?
Well, it'd be Agent Green.
Agent Green. Agent Green. What am I then? Calm
down. Last week I was building these guys. Box of Scar Crag Snivellers. GW's Blood Bowl Goblins. So I have another box of those to build at some point. So that's option 1. Option 2, carrying on with Blood Bowl, we have the much love-hated Troll. Get some love on that. So that's possibly option 2, but it is one model.
Right.
And then
to be clear, yeah, this is important because he's glossing over this, yeah, because he knows how you guys are going to vote if you know the relevance. Those Blood Bowl ones, they're for you, aren't they? Yeah. Now this next one, these aren't for you. These are for your son, aren't they? Go on.
Bolt action commandos.
So it's down to you guys.
25 of them.
Does Jace? Oh, and I'll tell you what, the Bren guns on those, they are a pain in the backside.
Everything to do with building. I love the bolt action models when they're built.
When they're built.
The building of them, I hate.
I'll be honest with you, the Bren really does annoy me because I have snapped so many barrels just trying to clip it off because the pressure of the clippers buckles the plastic. Do you know what I mean? As it cuts in.
Well, I did. My first army was Germans.
Bolt action commandos all day. You're doing Tom's models, mate. You're doing Tom's models.
Bastards. I did Germans first.
Yeah.
And I was working down the route of playing Germans. And I've still got a few. I built them all, and I built quite a few of them with the stick grenades.
Yeah.
And they all snapped. So I had to take all the arms off and replace them with just either a gun holding or a pistol or a generic arm. So then I give up on Germans for a while.
Calm down, Jace. It's okay.
And I'm now firmly in my Japanese Imperial Army, who I love because most of the metals I've got are figures. Most of the figures I've got are metal. Got quite a good chunk off Ant. Was it Ant? Or was it Rob? Ant or Rob, I bought a whole chunk off Japanese metal models off him.
Did you? I do prefer the Chindits because they're metal.
I got loads. I got a nice big box come through the post. It's got tanks, loads of infantry, and they're all built, which is the bit I hate. Some of them undercoated, some of them aren't, but that's fine because painting's a doddle for me. It's the building.
28 saying, do a conversion. World War II troll when commando uniform.
If the size of these
worked,
could fit with the size of those, there we go, then I would. However, these commandos are probably about the same size as that goblin that he's waiting to throw with the ball. In comparison, so he'd be throwing commandos. Ain't gonna happen.
No.
So most people are saying looks like Blood Bowl Goblins. Nice one.
Yeah. If you want to do your Blood Bowl Goblins, do your Blood Bowl.
No, I said before. Let's have some interactivity and we'll let you choose.
Well, no, dude.
No, it's fine. They've got to be built at some point. Tom's really come back. They went on holiday to Beaumaris towards the end of the summer holidays. Beaumaris. We call it Beaumaris.
English person.
English pigs.
That's like calling Amlock.
It's like calling Shrewsbury.
Don't even get my started on that. That drives me nuts. I used to live in Shropshire, yeah, and there's this weird thing in Shropshire where they think shrew is pronounced shrow, yeah. Now, screw isn't pronounced scrow, yeah. So Shrewsbury cannot be pronounced Shrewsbury.
You don't say I'm going to scrow your scrutum. It annoys me, it really does. Anyway, so Beaumaris. And while he was there, he was watching loads about this game that he likes, some number 4 edition of like a World War II game. And he'd come back so enthused about World War II. Just like you say, I was enjoying World War II several months ago. He's come back so he's been asking so many questions about it. Well, luckily I'm into my World War II. I've got loads of books. Oh, well, the map book's been to school today.
The map book?
Yeah, I've got a fantastic map I had for either my birthday or Christmas. My birthday, I think, actually, off the wife, which is World War II in maps.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh.
And it's not somebody who's like, oh, let's recreate these maps and put them in the book. They're actually pictures of maps from World War II. Original maps. So you've got maps, they've got writing all over them, plans of battle lines and attacks and everything. The book is brilliant. Well, my daughter said that our subject is World War II when we start back. Oh, you can take, I've got a couple of books to take, one with all the weapons in and all the equipment like tanks, planes, all that sort of thing. And I've got another one all on maps. She said, oh, that's good because our first project tomorrow is we're doing a map in class. So, well, then take the book with you if you want. It's an expensive book, but I don't mind because they're respectful at the school of property. And she took it and she said, oh, the teachers loved it because they've all built a map based on some of the maps, but the colours in the original maps are what give them an idea of how to make their maps.
Ah.
So not all these really bright, ludicrous maps. They've actually gone realistic with them. And Beth's really pleased with those and says, look, loads of the other people in the class are as well because they've all got these maps based off proper maps. So we'll have to bring it in.
Yeah, we'll have to have a note of that. Definitely. Right, people are bullying us. Yeah, about getting cracked on and what's the point of this stream? The point is, do you know what? What is the point of this stream?
The point of this stream is to raise money.
Oh, he's off again.
For Mel's new PC.
He's off.
As you can see, we've got a new graphic. I've cracked the whip.
Yeah, he's been bullying me.
New graphic, £471 is our current target. All, as Diggy says, donations via PayPal.
I'm just as good.
It's there at the bottom of the screen. PayPal, the terraintutor@gmail.com. He's also got a wonderful PayPal.me.
Yeah, the terrain tutor.
The terrain tutor, which takes you straight to him.
Hey, this is great.
There you go.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's right. It's only flagged you up because you've got the terrain tutor. And you're
I'm just curious whether now if we click on that, whether it goes to the actual PayPal thing, the terrain tutor, or whether it goes to my username. Yeah, that's the right link. We're good.
Super good. That's like his shop.
Yeah.
Just give us a minute while we get the screens back.
There we go.
Okay.
Mel,
that's what we're here for.
Just call me one screen Mel.
That's what we're here for. To get Mel a new PC. So
right, okay. Can anyone tell me what is the best way to paint styrofoam? I've been talking the beady stuff with styrofoam cooler. I broke up to make... Right, best way of doing it is give it a thin coat of filler first. It acts as a primer for the paint. Okay, if you want a good example on that, mate, go and have a look at my Let's Makes. The very latest Let's Makes where I did the bunkers. One of those is expanded foam bobbly, and I go through the whole technique there. Yeah, so that's your question answered there, mate. It's shown in that video, and it is my latest Let's Make. So you'll see it on the front of the channel. Thanks for the link. No worries, Steph. I'm really hoping to hear how Mel did the Burma Build since I'm wanting to do a mushy stipply posted about. What do you want to know, Rick?
I'd like to see cracked desert basing.
Yeah, we need to do desert at some time.
Cracked desert bait, like the American salt flats.
Yeah, the trick to getting cracked effect, yeah, is to basically make sure that whatever you're putting down, whether it be like filler or whatever, water it down, then hit it with a heat gun. What the heat gun does is it accelerates the moisture evaporating, which causes it to shrink and gives it that cracking effect. Yeah, so that's how you do cracked deserts. But I'll do a proper tutorial on it. Hills. I'd like to do hills. Dude, forget the Back to Basics playlist. Go and have a look at the hills playlist. I think, what is there, 27 hill videos in there now?
There's at least 25.
Yeah, there's at least 20 in there. Maybe 15.
The hills. The hills have eyes.
That's the one thing we haven't done. The hills have eyes.
Yeah, we've just put an eyeball in it. Go and get some glass eyes.
Yeah.
You can get them off eBay.
No worries, Tim. No worries at all. Please say it. I don't know why he wants me to say that. I always have fear when people say, please say things I'm going to get edited into a video.
Apple.
He said apple. I'm not going to say
apple.
apple.
I like apples at the minute. We've got an apple tree at the back of the garden.
Are they proper apples?
Yeah, eating apples like proper Cox's ones.
Yeah.
And proper English apples. And this year, we've had 1 or 2 apples in other years. This year, 25 apples off it.
Well done.
And they are beautiful.
Well done.
Really pleased. Nothing off a cherry tree.
Do you know what? I grew up in Wales, yeah. I grew up in Anglesey, and Anglesey is very good for planting. It's one of the flattest bits of Wales. And Anglesey is actually called Ynys Mon, Mon Man Cymru, yeah, which is Welsh for Mother of Wales, because all the food for Wales came from Anglesey. That's where they grew it. But it's kind of weird with the way it gets hit with the coastal weather. In fact, that you get quite tropical.
Yeah, it's a strange place. We love Anglesey. We've been on there many times, and we love it. And I know it's one of the most unique places in that you've got that fantastic fertile ground for growing all your veggies and that. Cattle love, and the sheep love grazing there because the grass is so lush and so beautiful. And then you've got all that coastal area with all the fish.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, that's why.
It's no wonder why it was called that, because it's a bounty. And that's why it was the first place that they settled on Wales, wasn't it? Properly in Anglesey, all the ancient tribes. Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was one of the early settlements. You know, but what was quite interesting is I grew up on a small holding. We had about 4.5 acres. Yeah, we had about 1 acre of potatoes that we planted ourselves. Yeah, and then we had another acre that was put over to various veg, and then we had 1/4 of an acre put over to strawberries. Yeah,
I love a good strawberry.
I'll tell you what, yeah, I used to walk around with a permanent red bleaching around my mouth where if I was bored, I just used to walk up and down these strawberry lines. It's not as much fun when you're walking up and down the potato lines, but you know, the strawberry lines, delicious.
I'll tell you what's not so much fun is spending 3 weeks of your summer
holidays. Mark.
3 weeks of your summer holidays strawberry picking. That's a crap job.
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it. Or I hated it.
Mate, we were a very self-sufficient family, yeah, and the acre of potatoes was our year potato supply, yeah, which meant that we had to pick them.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man.
It's a horrible job, isn't
I
it?
decided at a very young age that I have no interest in farming. Yeah.
Oh, my family's all farmers.
Yeah.
So.
We used to have chickens, we had geese, yeah. We used to have these turkeys as well. Yeah, we had 3 turkeys, yeah, this one time, and then after Christmas, yeah, my mum told one ran away, and it was only after Christmas that I realised I'd ate one of the turkeys that I'd raised.
You'd had Bob.
He had a name, yeah, I can't remember his name, but he had a name.
They would have done, weren't they?
Yeah, but it was the way we lived, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's it. Like
we had a duck called Donald that laid an egg.
Productive duck.
Yeah. The best one was we had a couple of geese. Yeah, now anyone who knows geese will know that domestic geese don't fly. They can flap their wings and they can sort of
proper British geese, the white ones.
Yeah, and we're not talking about like
not the Canadian ones.
Not the Canadian ones who fly up and down. British ones, they're very heavy and at best, yeah, they can sort of like 15 foot as a bit of a swoop.
Well, walking Christmas dinner, aren't they?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. Well, this one time, my mum called them for the dinner. And the time that she called them, she was happening to stand, yeah, as the wind was coming behind her and going towards them as they ran down the field towards her. And if you've ever seen geese run for food, they run, yeah, with their wings out.
Anything, they always run with their wings out.
Yeah,
if they're coming at you or anything, they always run with their wings out.
Anyway,
it helps to balance them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So top heavy.
This wind hit them. And they just went skyward. And I'm not talking a little. I mean, they went straight up. Yeah. And the best thing was, I stood there, and the look on their faces as they didn't understand what was going on. I mean, literally, they were like, oh. It's like, this is not right. They landed about a mile away. We had to go get them. Yeah, because they'd flown off, and they were dinner. Yeah, but, oh. Geese, great guard dogs. Oh, they're vicious little buggers.
Yeah, God, they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
Very aggressive. We've got a nice lake near us. I nearly said Windermere then. It's not Windermere.
Are you talking
Longport, Middleport.
Oh,
those 2 lakes.
Westport Lake.
Westport Lake, and there's loads of wildlife there. It's lovely. There's loads of geese and swans and all sorts of birds and duck. It's a really nice place to go for a walk. But the geese there, God almighty, because people feed them loads of bread and all sorts. They'll come and take it out of your hand or out of the bag before you even got it out to chuck at people. We can't take the kids out to feed them anymore.
No, we've stopped taking after.
Get scared.
Well, one of them had Willow.
So vicious.
Yeah, one of them had Willow's hand, and it was like, this is not fun anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they don't do any real damage, but it's the
No,
scare factor.
It is the scare factor, especially with little.
And when you take them out, when you take it out for fun, then that's it. Then it's ruined it, because then they're on edge, and then you're on edge because they're on edge. Yeah, vicious little things. Well, not so little, but vicious enough.
But no, it might be Mapping the Second World War. Is that the book? Could it be?
Could be. It's white sleeved.
Yeah.
It's a big, sort of A4 size hardback book, and it's white sleeved.
Are you also going to do some modelling in the stream? Fingers crossed we are. Yeah, it's just...
It doesn't mean like today's latest fashion is... Jace is sporting a t-shirt this week.
What's your t-shirt say? Cleverly disguised as a responsible adult. Yeah, we will do some modelling.
While I was talking to the teacher.
I just need to figure out what we're modelling. Well, he knows what he's doing. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. What am I going to do, Jace? I can't start... The problem is, guys, I can't start any sort of terrain or anything like that because I am normally when I'm modelling on a stream, I'm sort of halfway through a tutorial and just doing the bits, you know, and you guys know that I'll switch the camera to me quickly and film a little bit, and then, you know, I'll crack on with just bantering with you guys. The difference is when you start a tutorial, it's pretty heavy with the filming and thinking and working things out, which isn't particularly fun on a live stream. You know, in fact, a live stream complicates that little bit. Yeah, a bit like it complicates the end.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Without planning.
Yeah, very much a lot of working out.
As you're doing it. It's not something you can sit down and work out sometimes. You have to, when you've got it in front of you, you can then start to plan actually what's the best way or what way do I want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I have bought the boards for for the trenches. Yeah, the MDF boards for the trench system. I bought those from B&Q. But then again, for me to cut those, that's power tools. Can't do that on a live stream. You know, same with airbrushing. Airbrushing isn't brilliant on a live stream because it's the noise.
Yeah, generally.
So I need to figure out what I can bloody do.
Didn't plan it.
Well, to be truthful,
tell you what.
You sod.
No, you're right.
Right.
Well, I know what I'm doing. The votes come in, and it's unanimous, pretty much. The troll.
Geese save Rome from the Celts.
I'm trolling them with the troll. Yeah, it's the
Celts once. The Celts claimed over the city wall one night and ran into a gaggle of holy geese. Really? Then again, to be truthful, pretty much the same has happened to me on exercise. Yeah, we've had a squad and we've gone in and we've ended up in a goose field. Yeah, and you hear them at night. There's nothing scarier than the sound of angry geese at night.
That's it. They are good. They are, like you said, they are good guard dogs because they make that much noise, more than a dog.
Yeah.
Some dogs can't be bothered.
My brother actually has geese as guard dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
mean, they anything that comes near,
now,
skittish.
That wasn't the worst thing, animal-wise, I've ever done on exercise. We once went on this one.
Steady on.
No, calm down. Yeah. We once went on this 1X and we were just yomping and we found this place to basically camp down for the night. And we camped down in this field. Yeah, and in the early hours the light sort of came on. Yeah. And this field is just littered with sheep skulls. Yeah.
That's like something that you see in a horror film.
All through the night we could hear dogs howling.
Ooh.
Yeah, and waking up surrounded by sheep skulls.
Where was this again?
This was this was up in Northumbria.
Oh right.
Yeah, and we bricked it. We absolutely
could have been the locals. No, we like Northumbria. Went on our summer holiday there last year.
Mel, help Jace with the commandos. Oh no, because I break the guns.
No, it's okay. Mal do his own thing. It's fine.
I've just got to figure out what I'm going to do. Hey, Bleachon, how you doing, buddy?
I'll take one for the team.
You're going to take one for the team, oh, you hero. Right. I'm going to have a look around my studio to see what there is for me to do.
You got any more Battlefield basics to do?
It's the same situation, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because you've not planned to get
it's
stuff together.
I can do tutorial stuff on a live stream as long as I'm halfway through. But if I'm starting or I'm finishing, it just
because you've got to get all the materials together.
Yeah, and all that sort of stuff. And also, You know, the first bit of a live stream, I actually spend most of my time trying to figure out what it is I'm trying to do and how I'm going to do it. You know. So, ooh. What could I use it for? Could I use it for anything? Possibly, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Got some hills there that I could do.
Ooh, hills are good. Hills are always popular. Can't beat a good hillock. You could do new tutorials, call it a tour.
A what?
A tour. I'm doing a tour.
I've already done that video. It's out on Saturday.
You heard it here first.
Or maybe watch it on Tuesday or Thursday.
Oh, there's somebody linked on one of the Bolt Action groups about. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's been in a few films, and he's quite the American sergeant major, old dude.
Oh yeah, I know.
Do you know the one I mean? And he does. He often shooting weapons.
Yeah.
As most of our American friends do in their pastime. And he was comparing the Bren gun with the BAR.
Well, go on.
And I haven't seen the whole video, but the Bren gun, from what I saw, just won hands down.
The Bren's a bloody good bit of kit. I mean, the LMG was its modern sort of takeover, and I used to pack the LMG, and the LMG was a beautiful weapon.
The Bren gun.
The one problem, the one problem with the LMG, that you used to get was that trying to get magazines for it, because everyone used to nick the magazines, because it's a 30-round magazine, and the SLR was only a 20-round magazine.
Yeah.
So, but it was hot swappable.
Yeah, it's interchangeable. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could carry an extra 10 rounds in your SLR. Yeah.
Which is a lot.
If you had an LMG mag. The problem was that the LMG is a gravity-fed gun, which means the springs in the magazine aren't that strong.
No, because they
only need to just basically keep it together.
Yeah. It's almost just to stop the cartridges rather than
very much.
Rather than feed in.
And with the SLR, you need more springs strength to actually force the rounds up into the chamber.
Well, that's what the problem with the BAR was, because it was spring loaded from the bottom.
Yeah.
And the cartridges were crap, because they're thin and flimsy, prone to rusting on the spring, so they would jam on the cartridge more than anything else. But then the Bren's such a fabulous piece of kit, because you can change the barrel.
Yeah, hot swap it. But no,
and its rate of fire's pretty decent.
The LMG was bloody great fun. I'll tell you, I've never felt more of a man than walking through the woods, carrying an LMG as an 18-year-old. Yeah, I mean,
walking through the woods with a big weapon in your hand.
I'm the man. Still got 15 miles of this to do, and it weighs a bloody ton. With all the training we build for various wargaming, you might think about a troop tray build for your minis.
That's him, Richie. Gunny Sergeant, that's him.
Yeah, Gunny Sergeant. Not surprised the Bren did better than the Bar, given that it was designed nearly 2 decades later. Was it? I didn't know that. How old were you when you started doing wargaming? I was 15. I actually started terrain a lot sooner, because my mum owned a craft shop and I used to do little toy dioramas as a kid. But when I first got into wargaming, when I moved back from Wales, and when I moved back from Wales to Stoke, about 14, 15.
Clayton?
No, this was Kidsgrove.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Newcastle then?
Yeah. But what do you call it? Yes, we called it Stoke because it was, the family's from Stoke.
Yeah,
and
it's almost the same. It's almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's easier.
But I actually moved back, and a couple of my mates, my class friends that I made, were into wargaming. They'd already started playing Warhammer, and you couldn't get White Dwarf. I'd never seen White Dwarf in Wales. Yeah, and then you had this situation where we didn't have a Games Workshop initially. We had Fantasy World.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was like an independent retailer of all sorts of alternative stuff.
It's still there now, but in a different guise, isn't it? It's Forbidden Planet or Another Planet,
something like that. But those sort of stores. And then about a couple of years later, when I was about 17, Games Workshop moved into Stoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember the day they opened the store quite vividly. They had a sale.
But it is, yeah. They've just celebrated their 26th birthday.
Yeah, but I mean, what they used to do
this month or last month.
What they used to do with store openings back then
Yeah, I used to give stuff away.
Well, do you not remember in White Dwarf they used to have your tickets, coloured tickets?
Oh yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
would be like, this is 25% off anything with a red label.
But you used to get stuff given away as well. It wasn't just cheap.
This was like buy one get one free.
But
with
you used
your
to get
boxes.
you used to get sales, because I remember going to openings in like Birmingham and different places just for the sales.
Well, that's it. In White Dwarf, yeah, there'd be like a 2-page spread, yeah, and the 2-page spread, one page would be this is our new store opening, and the other page would just be vouchers,
coupons,
and they were little. There'd be about 50 vouchers on a page, but you'd travel to store openings, yeah, to just literally max out because they were the only times you got vouchers.
Well, if you think about it, if you think how much GW discounts for their big buyers, so for example, Triple Helix, Wayland Games. The big boys, they get like 40% discount off.
Are they on 40 points off?
40% off. That's why people like Triple Helix. I know Element Games and all that can offer 25% near enough.
Right, I always thought it was 36.
No, it used to be, and I'm pretty sure it still is 40%. It may have changed, but last time I saw it, it was 40%. So if you think they're offering you 25% off in store with GW, they're still making. Because they're off that 40%, they're discounting. They're still making a good. There's still another 20% margin, probably.
I mean, when we talk about GW, it's always and profits. It's always a bit of a misnomer because it's that weird situation where you've got a highly profitable product line that has to support a highly unprofitable retail chain
and a huge business behind it.
Yeah,
if you've ever been to Warhammer World, just Warhammer World, you'll see the sort of level of organisation that goes on there. I mean, yes, it's an expensive hobby. But then, as me and Mal always discuss about this, and we probably have in previous shows, it's only expensive comparatively.
Yeah.
Because you
golf is expensive. Banger racing is expensive.
Archery.
Fishing.
Big into archery.
Do you know my brother pays £1,600 a year just for a ticket license, so he can sit next to a pond?
When I used to fish as a kid, it cost me £5 for my tackle.
Yeah.
It cost me £1 for the maggots in a box that you could keep them in from the bait shop.
Yeah.
And that was it. You go and pay £5 for your rod license for a year.
I grew up on Anglesey. We walked to the creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we fished.
That was my outlay for
and that was it.
20 odd quid.
But I mean, a fishing license, 1,600 quid. Yeah, for a fishing license.
That's obscene.
So, when we talk about expensive hobbies, comparatively, it actually isn't that expensive.
I mean, consider it's a hobby. It's not essential for people to live on. You can't compare it to things like bread, milk.
No, you can't.
It's a hobby, and and you've got to remember. Let's say
this box, brothers.
Yeah, we're not stopping now.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Let's say this box of Commandos. Yeah, it's probably about 20 quid, something like that.
Yeah, let's ballpark it. We don't know if it is 20 quid, but we will say it's 20 quid.
We're going to use a hypothetical price. Say it's £20. There are 25 models in there, so that's less than £1 each. That's going to give me tonight at least 2 or 3 hours to build a couple of sprues, more to build the rest at home, then to paint them and base them. You're looking at least around 20 hours to do a good job, cleaning them, modelling them, gluing them, setting them, basing them, painting them. At least 20 hours for that box.
This rant again.
That's £1 an hour. Go out and buy a DVD. One DVD that's a newish film. 2 hours for the film on average, 10 quid. That's £5 an hour. The hobby isn't that expensive. Once you've watched that video, that DVD's pretty much dead. Like for you, certainly, you only watch a film once. I might watch films over and over, but some films don't.
I can't. I have one of those memories, where the moment we did this last night. Me and Kez we were watching Shanghai Nights.
Oh, Shanghai Nights, with Owen Wilson and Jackie
Chan. Yeah, and she says, "Oh, you'll like this. It's Western." I'm like, "No, it's based in London." Yeah, and she's like, "No, they're in the West." I'm like, "No, they'll go to Victorian London." Yeah, and they did. You know what I mean? And
so
I'm one of these people that once I've seen a film, I may not be able to remember it, just from recall, but the moment that film's on, I immediately know what the plot line is and everything about it, which means I can't rewatch films. It's a bit of a git, to be truthful.
Right. I'm the opposite. I can watch those films. So comparatively, it does seem expensive because you're buying toys. But then you go out and buy Lego.
I can't afford it.
No, well, you need another mortgage and you don't own a house.
Yeah.
Lego is expensive. All of these toys nowadays, that if you've got kids, any of you've got kids, all of these toys that they want.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Do you find playing computer? I play quite a bit of World of Tanks. Yeah, well, not quite a bit, but I play World of Tanks. Do you find playing? Do you get guilty playing computer games because they're not productive?
I do a little bit. Sometimes I go in a bit of a funk and I end up playing games to keep your mind occupied than thinking of stuff that you don't want to think about. As anyone with depression suffers from it.
Yeah, it's what you do, you know what I mean?
You go into your happy place, and sometimes me just playing games is my way of escaping for a while. And yes, when I'm doing that, I've just come out of a funk of that sort of thing, where I've not done any hobby or anything productive, anything towards the house or anything. I've just been doing other stuff, like playing on the computer or playing on the Xbox. And it is, like you say, it's just distraction. But sometimes you need that. You need that downtime.
Yeah. I just get guilty sometimes.
I get guilty when I finish playing. I don't at the time I'm doing it because you're in it.
Yeah.
But when I've finished, I'm like, oh, I've spent 3 hours playing that. What have I got out of it?
I've got nothing to show. Whereas if I was modelling, I'd have models.
I'd have built a building.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Or I'd built a sprue.
All right, let's have a look at the comments. I'm pretty sure Mel does terrain for a living, though, so it's an investment, not blown. Very true. Don't forget, you'll have those minis for years.
That's exactly
what we're saying. You know, that was my comment on the you know.
Yeah, and you've got to remember with GW as well, is a lot of people were angry at GW, not necessarily because of the prices, but because of the lack of respect that they were showing to their customer base.
Yeah.
But that's starting to change. We've talked about this before, the amount of... And that makes me even more happy to spend the money on their products.
Not just that, I mean...
They're giving back a bit.
It's turned round GW. They released their financial statements for... they've
done really well, haven't they?
And they're doing really well. And it's nice because they're doing really well, because they're doing what they should have been doing, which is engaging with the community. And everyone, you know...
Well, it's not just engaging with the community, they're actually listening.
Yeah.
To the community. People are saying we want this, we want that, and they're giving it to them.
Yeah.
They're asking for feedback. They're asking for these things, which is not a GW we've had for 20 years.
I'm paying games, which gives me guilty feelings for not devoting more time to my hobby work. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's the same. The problem is you're in a bit of a vicious circle with this hobby, because you want to play, but then you want to be productive. Well, playing isn't productive. But building your stuff to play is productive, and the end goal of your productivity is to play.
It's quite ironic, you know what I mean? For a pair of nutters, you know.
A bit philosophical, a bit off the wall.
Did the same thing yesterday, post-surgery day, 3 hours of Neverwinter, 5 hours of modelling. I normally find I'll have a couple of games of World of Tanks as my distraction. You know what I mean? I like World of Tanks because they're 10-minute games rather than the open-endedness. I used to play Minecraft, yeah, and Kez came down at 5 AM in the morning once and just said, enough.
I used to, when I was in my darkest place, I used to play a game called Space Marine on the Xbox, and it's a squad game.
Is it the first-person shooter game based on 40k?
Yeah, and you work together as squad.
Space Marines!
I was in a really good chapter on that, the Space Wolves chapter. I'm not a Space Wolves player by any means, I'm Dark Angels. But I got together with a really good group of guys, and we were in the Space Wolf chapter, and we were one of the best. If not, at one time, we were the best in the online game of it. Our squad was, because we had some fantastic players. Really good players. One of the guys I know now plays World of Tanks still. And I used to love that, because the camaraderie and playing that game. And I'd start at 7 o'clock at night. I'd be really cranky if anyone interrupted, because I was in the zone. And I'd play until 3, 4 o'clock until everyone else was leaving. Yeah. And it would be disgusting, really.
Yeah, it's a complete waste of time. Well, not a complete waste of time, but an
5 and 8 hours.
You know what I mean?
And you wouldn't think about it twice.
Yeah.
And that became really important. That became the important thing. You couldn't be late, or you couldn't talk to your family because you were busy doing this, or you hated getting interrupted.
Cat's angry with us. I said there was going to be no live show today and no notifications.
We've not been on long, Cat. We're only here 40 minutes. We're only chatting at the minute.
It's a bit up and down at the minute. I'm waiting for Kerry's schedule to come in with university, and kids have just started back school, so I wasn't sure if there was going to be a live show, but I thought if I can, I would do one. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so that's why we're in, Cat. Sorry about that, Duck. You know me. Once Kerry gets into university and schedules get sorted, it's going to get a lot better. Now, on top of that, my lad has joined the Army Cadets. Yeah, and I am very happy about this.
Cool. I wish Tom had. I wish Tom would do anything like that. He went to, was it Cubs or Scouts once? Said he didn't like it, and then won't go into it.
No, Corbin's look.
I've been desperate for him to go. Beth goes to guides. She's been since Rainbows, so she's been all the way through it, and she absolutely.
Well, Willow is desperate to go in. Now, obviously, my eldest lad is Army. He's a corporal in the REME, and obviously, with my background, I wouldn't say we're a forces family, but we're pretty close. You know what I mean? So it's nice for him to actually go to the Army Cadets. But yeah, 2-week annual camp in summer, 40 quid. I turned around 2 years' time. Willow wants to join. Yeah, I turned around to Kez and I said, 80 quid. They're gone for 2 weeks. We can go on holiday.
Yeah, you can have, and at that price, yeah, you can go get yourself a caravan somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Or just go and stay somewhere nice for like,
well, we actually already planned it. Yeah, we said all we got to do is go and have a holiday break. Yeah, somewhere relatively close to where their camp is.
Yeah.
So not too close, like we're on top of them, but
just
no more than an hour away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that way, if something happens, like, they fall off a hill or something like that.
Yeah, not too much further away than you would have been if you were at home.
Exactly.
But in a completely different direction.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But, 2 years' time, Willow will be starting, and then my summer holidays will be down to 4 weeks a summer.
My Xbox handle critical hits is Glarian. So whether you remember that at the time, I don't know. But we used to play with people...
I was on the Disciples of Caliban. You most likely beat the snot out of me a few times.
We were a good. We had an A team and a B team, and at one time, both our A team and a B team were the top two.
I have only ever been. I go on World of Tanks. I go by the Terrain Tutor. That's my username. I don't know why I did that.
Well, mine's still Glarian because I'm on Xbox.
Yeah, but I'm the Terrain Tutor, and I've only been recognised once. Yeah, on it.
Perhaps you've been recognised lots of times, and that's why people go after you. Not telling you, but just like go and beat the snot out of you.
No, I've only been recognised once, yeah. And I was playing along, and I was playing a game, yeah, and it was like, this message came up saying, hey, are you Mel the Terrain Tutor? Yeah, and I went to type, and as I'm typing, the guy, yeah, who'd sent the message, shot me. And it was like, you distracted me.
That's not done. You're doing a hangout. You're about to have a chat with a dude, and he blows you up.
And I'm like, Dad, your minis look nothing like my uniform. I'll tell you what, the new uniform they've got, they're not in British DPM anymore. They're in the sort of mixed one between the desert, urban and green.
Yeah, I saw somebody walking up we've got the Army Cadets in Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's on
London
Road, Liverpool Road, where it is.
It's that TA Centre, the Signals one,
that's the one, yeah. It's the same place, and I've seen a few coming out of there.
But they're in the new camo and that sort of stuff.
I wondered what I thought it was just something a bit...
That would hurt. It did. How many views do you want to get, ideally?
1 million?
Do you know what? I'm not that... It's weird, yeah? I'm not that bothered about how many views I get on videos. I mean...
Well, the live show isn't so much about views. It's a community thing for you guys to ask Mel stuff. And just to have the access.
Yeah,
just to have live access to Mel.
Live Mel.
Live. Yeah. Jasmine. Yeah, I'm seeing those adverts coming up all the time.
Do you know what?
And the other reason, and this has got a very good second reason for the live shows, and that's for you guys to donate to Mel's current target, which you can see at the top of the screen. I think Mel needs to check his phone.
I do actually need to check my phone. Right, let's check the phone for the
current target pre-phone check is 471, and it's for a brand new computer for Mel. Which will hopefully help him to take less time than 8 hours to render a 30-minute video. So PayPal's on the bottom of the screen there, terraintutor@gmail, or you can go to www.paypal.me/theterraintutor to go straight to his gift page on PayPal.
He's good at this sort of stuff. It looks like we may have some notifications here, dude. Like some... Oh!
And if you want to do more than just the one-off, then patrons there as well. Just a $1. You can limit your subscription on Patreon to just be $1 a month, no matter if Mel does 1 or 100 videos. Okay, let's change that. If Mel does more than 1 video, you'll only pay what you set. You can set the limit. It's scary.
Don't ever expect me to do more than 8 Patreon videos in a month, because I don't think that's physically possible for me to do more. Because the one thing about the Patreon videos, to be clear,
but wait till you get your faster PC.
No, it's not that. Yeah, it's Patreon videos. I feel have to be decent quality educational videos. There's a lot of videos I do that never go to Patreon and people never pay for, because I just don't think they're worth it. Yeah, I don't feel right asking for your patronage to support that video. Yeah, and so I know for a fact I could never do more than 8 videos in a month. So
and it is in Mal's head, whether he'll be able to do anything about it yet, but to start to improve some value for the patrons. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It is. What do you call it? I want to have a look at doing patron-only hangouts at some point.
Yeah. Well, I really like when you were getting the discounts for patron-only things, which is things I know that you can look at, and some things from behind the scenes, but
yeah, that's something I need to work on. You know what I mean? And I've been talking with a few people with regards to getting specific ongoing discounts. Yeah. You know, but we'll keep.
But anyway, yeah. So Patreon, the link's in the video description. Even if you just did $1 a month, it doesn't seem like much, but if 100 of you did that, it's $100, isn't it?
Exactly. Right. We have had some supporters, Jace.
Well, hey.
Right. Rick G. He sent a nugget.
Well done, mate.
So thank you, Rick. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah. After Rick G. Yeah, we got Stuart P. He sent 2.5 nuggets. Are you counting?
Right, yes, that's 3.5. We'll round it down to 3 for now. Nice one.
Stuart P. So thank you, buddy.
Good one, Stuart.
Yeah. On top of that, George M. He sent 15 nuggets.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, George. So you've got to keep counting because we've got to get that total down.
So it takes us up to 18.
Yeah, George M. And then
nice one, George.
And then Braggy has sent 10.
Oh, good on you, Braggy. Come back with a bang.
Yeah. So we have Rick, Stuart, George, and Braggy. Now, how much is that?
28. So that's 3. So that's 43.
43. Right. What's 43 from 71?
No, that's it. It's 443.
443. Yeah, no, I don't want that one. I want. Oh, look, you see how it does it green at the top there?
Yeah.
That's nice.
443, 28.
Oh, we're getting closer,
below the 450.
We are. 350 is halfway in it.
Yeah, 350 is dead on halfway.
Yeah. What is a nugget? A nugget is a British pound. Yeah. The reason we call them nuggets is because, yeah, that is a British pound coin.
That's the new one, isn't it?
Yeah, the old ones were.
I haven't got one on, but the old ones were perfectly round.
And they were also all gold. Yeah, so we used to call them gold nuggets. Or nuggets. I haven't got it.
Or squids.
Squid, yeah. Has the money come through? It has. We are doing well. Right, I just need to clear.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, stop. We're still going, guys. Right, no, yeah. You're gonna have to do some more maths. Yeah. Okay. All S. 10 nuggets.
Oh, good one, all S.
Thank you, buddy. And yeah, Noah's 8. Yeah. 4 nuggets.
Okay.
So that's 14.
Brilliant one. Nice one, Noah. Thank you very much. Was it S or Z? Sure. Yeah, it is Z.
Right. Before I do this, we're going to have. Oh, look. It is Z. Yeah. Ollie S and Noah Z. Because we've reached that point, we're going to have to do that.
Well, wait for this, people.
Oh yeah.
It'll get even better on the next one.
Look at that. Like, woohoo! It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Technology.
Right.
What was it 14?
Yeah.
So 429.
Yeah, 429.
Good one, people. Excellent stuff.
Oh, wrong. Yeah, 429.
We certainly can, Metal. We give you a shout out at the beginning of the show because we said, Ole is Metal Storm's dad.
Ah!
Good on you, Metal
nice
Storm.
one.
And Metal Storm's dad, Ole. Is it Ole or Ole? We're saying Ole because isn't that how the Spanish say Ole?
Well, Bleacherun's saying he'd never heard of nuggets until I started pushing it.
He never heard of McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Can you give me a shout out, Mel? Metal Sturm. Let's give him a shout out.
Yeah.
Looks like breaking news. That's witchcraft. What's witchcraft?
The scrolling.
Yeah, isn't it? That's really nice. I like that.
Somebody said, "Can we see what I'm doing?" Yeah, the vote. We had a vote at the beginning of the show. What should I build? And it's the bolt action commandos for my son.
Irons is saying, for how much content you give us, a couple of dollars a week is well worth it. That's awesome, mate.
That's spot on, Iron. It is. It's not much to ask, hopefully. And if you can afford, then every bit that you help. Because remember, Mal doesn't work. His partner, Kez, doesn't work. So he could be out earning in a proper job, if you like everybody calls it a proper job, even though there's nothing wrong with what Mel does. He relies on the community completely for his wages, supporting his family. He doesn't talk about it because he's pretty modest. Yeah, he mentions it, asking you for Patreon and PayPal at the end of his videos. But we really are helping Mel. He says living the dream, but it's not a dream. He's living the reality, and the reality in the real world is it's hard to provide for your family. Well, Mel's not just providing for his family. He's providing for 60,000 plus YouTube subscribers.
Do you know how many kids I've got?
He's providing.
I've got 60,000 bloody kids.
Well, more than that potentially, because there's 12. What's the latest on the terrainiacs group?
Oh,
it's over 10. It's 11 or 12,000.
No, we're on 12,000, 12,500.
So there's another 12,000 potentially on the terrainiacs group. Facebook, search for the Terrain Tutors Terrainiacs.
The link is in the description, guys.
It's in the description as well, so sign up to that for fantastic content. Mel's very good at answering your questions, as is the rest of the community. There's 12,000 other Terrainiacs.
Tend to look after the Terrainiacs.
Yeah, there's 12
really other. On that.
And it's a very respectful, good place to be on the internet.
Have you ever been in a Facebook group that's as nice as
I've never been in any group. Never mind just the Facebook group. In any group on the internet that is as friendly, as welcoming, supportive, advice-filled, you name all the superlatives that go with it. I've never been in such a good one. It's a wonderful place.
What's the really total for actual grief in there? Is it?
I think in the last 12 months, I think you've banned 3 people.
Yeah.
And that's 2 of them were just being complete knobs.
Yeah. Who would have got banned straight off anyway.
And 1 was just an argumentative idiot.
Yeah. Not bad out of 12,000 people.
And that's because the rules are fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
And people respect each other, and it's a place to respect each other and what people do.
So yeah, if you're not in the terrainiacs group, check down in the description and get in, because I'm telling you, it's not just that. Yeah. Because of the sort of group rules which you'll see when you get in there, what it means is your feed is just full of great terrain.
Yeah, because there's no sharing allowed, no business adverts or all that business going in it. It's purely photographs that people have taken of their own work, posted on for either, look at what I've made, have you got any ideas for improving it in the future, or here's inspiration, this is how I did it. Anybody got questions can ask, or ask Mel, or people who want to build something and then they just ask, and the amount of knowledge that you all hold in your heads is wonderful. It's really such a positive place to be.
Have you ever played tanks?
I know of it, but I don't think I played it. Oh, big news! Big news for September. You've reminded me, Tanks. Warlord on their website.
Yeah.
All of September ends right at the beginning of October, so all through September, their version of Bolt Action, but the tank version, Tank War, I think it's called, or Tank Battle, free to download. The whole rulebook, PDF. Go on their website, free to download for the whole of September. Fantastic addition to have. Get the whole full rulebook as a PDF, completely free. No catch to it. Just sign up on their store. Tank Wars, yeah, that's right, Rick. I think it is. Oh, something like that.
I wonder.
It's really good as well, because I had a flick through it, and I've seen people playing it before, and I thought, well, it'd be quite good to have a tank battle that's based on the bolt action, so you're not buying into 2 games.
Yeah.
But you're playing kind of 2 games. Bit like with the Warhammer stuff. You play 40k, but Necromunda's coming. You've got other stuff like fantasy, and then you've got Mordheim. So you've got stuff that will pull between them.
Took a second, but I got a bit. All right, I'll check it in a second. These groups are incredibly inclusive. You welcome railroad folks and those of us who make. Yeah, as long as you're a terrainiac. Yeah, I mean, it don't really matter if you're a dirty railroader.
Do you know the one thing I'm
trying to convert you to wargaming, to be perfectly honest.
We've got Fred, who you've seen. We've been down to him tonight, haven't we? Trying to slowly convert him into. He's getting more and
Fred,
more.
Right now is reading the bolt action rulebook, and he's liking it. He's very liking it indeed. So you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think we're not an exclusive group. We're not an elitist exclusive group. We're an inclusive group.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. Railroaders, diorama guys, wargaming, architects doing their models.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything. Everybody can get inspiration.
Homework projects.
Yeah, something that you want to do for the school. Everybody is welcome, and everybody is respected in that group and welcomed, and everybody's opinion matters. Yeah,
Iron in the Fire is saying, after seeing what you posted in the last video of people, you know, what they've been doing, he's really driving his game. That's the terrainiacs
showcase.
The
showcase. I like the showcase.
Showcasing.
Love the showcase.
I think it's nice because I think when you see the showcase, and when I do the showcases, I always try and get a range of first-time builds to some really nice builds, because I think it's important that everyone sees that
the whole
it's a progression.
It doesn't matter. Your first bit of terrain that you build is one of the best bits of terrain you will ever make.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about whether it looks good.
It's got to be the best bits of terrain. It's the only bit of terrain you've ever made, ain't it?
Yeah. Well, even going forward, because that piece of terrain will push you to make other terrain. And once you start on that...
Rudy's in. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Rudy. Once you start down the dark path of being a terrainiac, there is no going back. It will take over your life. In a good way.
Look at me. I just got into making some training, doing some YouTube videos, get over my depression. I'm sitting in a studio now.
It's true.
It is true. Right.
It's so therapeutic as well.
What's the best way of doing the tracks on those? I'm best painting them or doing a wash. What do you reckon? I'm just trying to look at something I can do. Yeah, while we chat. So I've got these. These are 15mm Gale Force 9. Yeah. Tanks for their tanks game, and I've got the tracks on them that I've got to do, and then I've got these that I've got to do the tracks on.
Let's have a look at them.
I think you perhaps a wash over them.
But it depends what colour you want to do the tracks, whether you want to have them the same as the armour, or you want to do them different.
I'm quite relaxed with these because this is what I play with the kids. You know what I mean?
Oh, wash them then.
Yeah. I find I prefer terrain making over building minis. I've got to stage where finding terrain. I'm enjoying terrain building more than playing the game.
I prefer terrain building to making minis for two simple facts. One, making terrain actually feels like you're creating something.
It's very therapeutic.
It is. It really is.
Part of that is that there's actually very specific. I mean, it's well documented that arts and crafts is incredibly rewarding when it comes to mental health issues.
Yeah, there are two best things that they say for mental health. If any of you suffer out there, which we know you do.
Yeah, we all suffer.
Is artistic endeavours.
Yeah.
And exercise, physical exercise.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell by my physique, I do more than enough exercise. So I've got to fill in that gap with a bit of
modelling.
But it's terrainian.
Yeah.
Because I don't find this therapeutic necessarily. The scraping's quite nice, but I don't enjoy building models. I like it when, like I said last time, I like it when I'm doing my own custom builds and I'm doing a bit of hack and slashing on models and doing a custom model. But I don't like building these off sprues out of the box. It bores me to do it. Really does.
Right.
But the painting I really enjoy. That is very therapeutic for me. And modelling. I love modelling terrain.
So yeah, I think I'm going to work on some tanks tonight. Yeah, we may have Fred visiting us.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, you should see the piece of work he's working on now. I mean, that guy's work. He's so talented. It's beyond stunning. It really is. It's like a photograph. It's so beautiful.
I just found your channel the other day. Great stuff. Welcome, Simo. Right. Yes, I think.
Welcome to the flock.
No, right. Oh God! Here we go. More PayPals.
Yeah, good on you guys.
Oh.
I've got to get my maths head on again.
You gotta stop doing this to me, guys. I'll update the message.
He's off.
He's
got to just excuse him for a minute.
Give me a sec, guys.
He's actually stepped outside. Isn't it great having a guy who's so talented, so willing to share his knowledge to us all, and yet he's such a big girl's blouse. Well done, guys. And this is what the terrainiacs group and all of you subscribers are so great that makes this community such a wonderful place for us all to be. Not just for you guys and me being terrainiacs, but for Mal. Wonderful. Just the love that you show is incredible. And look how it affects him. We say every dollar matters, and it does, because it does that to him. He so appreciates. He doesn't, because he can't understand the amount of love that he gets. And I know the reason why, because he's bloody good. And he wears his heart on his sleeve. And we thank him for it. Because he's brought out a lot of tricky issues that aren't terrain related, that relate to all of us.
Are you guys okay if I step outside and have a fag?
Go for it.
Alright,
I'll stop and look after the stream.
Alright, cheers. Just give me a... Thank you, guys. Thank you, but I need a little bit of fresh air.
We'll update.
Yeah, we'll update when I'm back and we'll do that. So all those guys who've just caused this, don't think you're not going to get acknowledged, because you really are. Yeah, just give me a sec.
Let's have a see. Oh, nice one, Nordic player. Mel's a terrain god to us all. Gary, having issues. Let's see. Missed the question. Do any vids on washes, as I need a bit of help with mine. Mel tends to do washes on terrain more, but like Tamsin says, what are the issues that you're having with washes? Ibleen, I'm working on commandos from Bolt Action, as voted by the channel tonight. I'm going to try and make that a regular thing each week. I'll bring a couple of different projects in from home, and then you can pick what I'm doing on the show, as and when I can get on a Thursday. Hi, Mirak Apocrypha. Welcome to the show. It's a good evening here. It's 8:30. Just gone. Ooh. Problem is, if we move the camera down a bit, I can do that, but you're still not going to see the table without seeing Mel's ugly mug. We haven't got a two-camera setup tonight, really, because the other camera is just pointing in the same place, really. It's just acting as a microphone, the other camera is at the moment. But it will improve in future videos. Just Mel's updating all the stuff all the time. That's where your money, your donations help him. And obviously the current big target is the computer. Which, if my estimate is right from what I've just seen on PayPal, we've gone below the £400 target. Quite a way below. Can we tell you the name of this art, please? It's kind of like a modelling, sculpting, painting. All those things are involved. Evening, Martin. Mel's main thing is the modelling and the sculpting and the painting for the terrain, but we also do it with the models. You know, it goes a lot into this sort of thing. Yeah, that's right, Greentron, something like that. It makes me laugh when people don't see what we do with toy figures and with dioramas and railroad as being art. If you look at some of the fantastic painting that's gone on to some models in the community, it challenges anything on a canvas. Evening, Steve. And when you look at Mel's map they just did, I mean, if you got to see that, I mean, I was really lucky to see the finished product. I even carried it down the stairs with Mel, and I got it to see up close in person, and it is absolutely stunningly beautiful. Gary, okay, so it depends what parts you're trying to dirty up. If you're dirtying, let's start from the bottom and work up. Dirtying the tracks, you want a, depending on the theatre, if you're working in a typically moderate climate, temperate climate, then it's more mud. And ideally, if you're looking at Europe, it's mostly wet mud. So you're looking at a nice mid to heavy brown wash on the tracks or wheels. But don't go crazy with it because you still want the underlying colour of tracks and wheels. But if you look online and look at a tank that's been through manoeuvres, even like a current tank that's been through manoeuvres, and look at the tracks and the dirt, you'll see what I'm talking about. On top, you tend to find washes around the turret. He's gone for a cigarette, guys. He'll be back in a bit. On the turret, you want ideally a brown, but I like to mix in the colours that I've done the tank with as well, so that it kind of ties in, but a mid to light brown to mix in with the colour. And then the rest is spot washes of a black wash or something like that to represent oil.
A bit of fresh air.
There you go, he's back. He's back. They're all crying. Where's Mel? Where's Mel?
No. Mel had to have
a fag moment.
A senior moment. Right, so let's get these awesome people on the screen.
In that case, Gary, push for Berlin. It's going to be wet, so you're looking at either wet mud or mud tracks. Go and have a look at British manoeuvres in tanks. Even current day, the mud hasn't changed.
Yeah, mud's mud.
It hasn't changed from now to when it was in the World War II, and you'll find just what I'm talking about.
Right, let's get some names on the screen. I'm going to change that later.
I've done a bit of a spoiler.
What have you done?
I told them that the target, I said, if my estimates are right, the target's just dropped below 400. And quite a bit, maybe. I haven't told them any real.
Right, okay. You do the maths.
Right, bring the maths on.
Okay, thank you guys. First off from Ant W. Yeah, we've got 10 nuggets.
Nice one, Ant W. Thank you, dude.
Now Rudy said he's not going to be around a bit. Yeah, now Rudy's quite common on these streams. He always sort of drops a couple of nuggets at the start of the show. He's not going to be around a bit, so he sent 30.
Hero. Thanks, Rudy dude. Rudy dude. Rudy doody.
Rudy doody.
That's it. That's your terrain name.
Yeah. And then what you call it? We have Marcus N. Yeah, he sent 10 nuggets, so that's 50.
50. Nice one, Marcus. They're the ones I saw.
And then we've got Christian E. And he sent what you call it? 2 nuggets for us.
Oh, nice one.
So we're on 52. Listen, it doesn't matter what you send, guys. The reaction is always the same. It's just sometimes when they all group together and they sort of overwhelm me. Christian E.
What did we say? 52.
52. So what does that bring that target
So
down?
it brings us down to 477. 377, sorry.
We're almost halfway.
Yeah. 27 nuggets, not chicken nuggets. Pound, English pound nuggets.
So 377. Yeah.
27 away. I thought if we hit 400 this week, it would be doing really well.
Oh, thank you guys.
We're halfway from that target to the halfway target. £27 away from halfway in 3 weeks. That's why the terrainiacs community is wonderful. He still doesn't get it, I don't think, sometimes. He can't take in the support and how good you people are.
Do you know, if I'm perfectly honest,
I reckon
I don't think I'm worth it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
I don't think I'm worth your support. You know, that's why you know, genuinely I get bowled over when these things happen, because it's the actual real world realization that someone out there thinks that what I do is worth something. Yeah, and that's, trust me, coming from where I've come from, and with all my crippling self-doubts and the things that we do to ourselves when we do have these sort of issues.
And a shiny head.
Oh, shut up. Kez asked me if I wanted makeup before I came out. You know, but it's just the real world realization that, you know, you're worth something to someone.
It's hard to take sometimes. It is. It's hard. Like
you
just have. It's hard to see that these people think what you're doing is worth their time and money.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to do some hobby, and I'm going to move this camera. You can't see this camera.
There you go. I said he'd move the camera probably when he come back.
Yeah. And then we'll get down on the desk so you can see what we're up to. In fact, I could probably stand that camera like that.
Show him that camera. It's like some sort of alien thing. It's wonderful. Look at the legs on it. It's like something from War of the Worlds.
It is, isn't it?
Or Day of the Triffids.
It'd be quite at home on a gaming table.
Oh.
The webcam is coming for you.
How fantastic would that be?
Attack of the webcams.
Yeah.
Make a YouTube-related war game.
And people can control the webcams.
Oh God, can you imagine that? That's the thing of nightmares. Right.
Cool.
Just let me have a check on the scenes. I need to click on that one. I need to hover over that one, and then I need to adjust that so we can actually see what it's doing. Yeah, not the best of shots, but hey, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Mel, people donate because we love what you do. Yeah, I know you do, guys, but it's just the realization of when it actually lands and someone, you know, someone puts that, you know.
I mean, let's be honest. You don't think of yourself as an artist until you did that map. You kind of do, but when you've done that map, you can't deny that you are an artist because you've had a piece of your work framed.
Yeah, true. And actually, that map. No, actually, it wasn't the framing. Yeah, it was the fact that I signed it.
Yeah.
That was the word.
You put your little moniker on most things, but
I hide them.
Yeah, and you put it up front.
What you call it? When I do terrain piece, when I do boards, I always put TTT on, but then I put a bush over it,
except
so no one sees it. Well, yeah, but that was graffiti and everything, wasn't it? So it was.
Well, that was cool, though. That was the point.
You know, it was lost in that. But the map was the first one where I went, I'm putting my name on this. You know what I mean? Right. I'm from Moko, and I love this. Many artistic. Thank you, dude. You build only Warhammer? No, I don't. That is not Warhammer. That's a Stug.
The Fabled Realms map that he's just done was based on a fantasy game.
Yeah.
He did modern with the zombies. Did what did you do before that? You did the D-Day, the Normandy landings, which is World War II.
1 second, Rudy's just asking. We're making rubble for buildings because Rudy's just
that's fine.
The buildings. Any plans to show where to buy furniture? Yes. Yeah. Quick tip is what your Doll's house stuff. Yeah.
There's a couple of really good places online.
Yeah. Look at the kiddies' little craft toy sets you get from the pound store. They often do like tea sets and little scenes. Yeah. Now the plastic's crappy, but you're going to be priming it all and painting it all anyway.
The plastic's crappy, but it's ideal for what you use.
Yes, they break up really well. So you want to be hitting really. First off is your pound stores, and you want to be hitting the toy section. You want to be looking at their little play scenes, their little play sets. The little people. Bin those, they're no use to you. Yeah, but all the little accessories, they're good.
And yeah, there are some good Doll's House.
Yeah.
Online, really good. They're expensive.
It's the expense. Yeah. Right, I'm going to change camera now so they can actually see what we're doing. Yeah, so Jace is over there and he has got his bolt action stuff. Yeah, and I am going to be doing these, which are 15 mil, what you call it? Let me get that right. 15 mil World War II armour. Yeah, for my tanks game.
Did I bring you that Flames of War starter set?
No. I think you brought me a Team Yankee rulebook once.
Yeah.
Let me just get a quick drink.
I've got the Flames of War starter set at home. We don't do anymore, and that's 15mm, and it's got Stugs. It's got Germans and Americans, so it's got Shermans and Stugs in it.
Shermans
and Stugs. They've been built, but they've not been painted. So
that's even better. Right. So I want to do a little bit of dry brushing on that. 146 Pegasus farm animals. Did you know that Warlord's top selling product is sheep? No, it's seriously. They have a selection of sheep, yeah, and it outsells everything. Absolutely everything.
You lot are mad.
Right, so I need a little bit of cardboard.
Do you know what the biggest selling, and I think was it 2000? It's going back some, but one of the biggest selling things from Games Workshop was the tape measure.
Really?
The GW red tape measure.
Yeah, but that's the shitty one, yeah?
Yeah.
Ow!
I don't know what the current one's like, but I'm guessing it's not much different. You do know you can go to B&M and get a tape measure that's really good for 50p.
Yeah. I've never owned a GW tape measure. I've never seen the point.
Because it's these mad things that you think, either because it's got the symbolism on it, or because people think that's the tape measure I've got to have because it's specially for their game. Like,
people are weird like that,
yeah.
though. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's why they make so much money on the things that they sell that are weird.
Yeah, the tools and all that sort of stuff.
Because it must be the best thing because they sell it. Yeah, I like their knife.
Do you?
Because I like the chunkiness of the handle.
Ah, yeah, it does
It's
actually.
really, when I'm scraping like this, it's really ergonomic.
Although of all the blades, it's the one I use as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's really ergonomic. Having said that, though, I've got exactly the same X-Acto knife as that. Yeah. I think I got in a box with loads of different ones from Poundland or somewhere like that. Oh, I like that one when I'm doing my own custom modelling and stuff for cutting and things like that proper. Yeah, I really like that one. It's exactly the same one. X-Acto type knife.
Well, I'll tell you what annoys me about the GW ones. If you notice how the GW ones don't take, Swan Morton blades.
Yeah.
It really annoys me, that does.
They're not a universal, are they?
No.
It's a shame. So you'll go in and buy the box of blades.
Yeah, you got to buy the blades from them as well. The cheeky little blighters. Yeah, that'll do as a dry brush. No, too soft. See, it's been that long since I've painted models. I've forgotten which is my. Yeah, I'll use that as a dry brush. Look at the head on that. It looks like Sideshow Bob.
I'm just going to say it looks like a clown.
You could say this brush has lost its tip.
Perhaps if you wet it and twirl it, it'll come back.
No amount of wetting and twirling is going to fix that.
The only way you're going to get a tip back on that one is to glue it back.
Do you know, I think when they get to this stage, I actually start with clippers and start trimming
trimming your bush.
Oh, calm down, young man.
Trimming your bush.
I assume it's railway models buying them in bulk. What's that?
Sheeps.
Oh, the sheep. Yeah, you imagine. Could be.
But then there's lots of people. Having said that, World War II, a lot of World War II things are in the countryside.
Yeah, they are.
All your tabletops are always in the countryside, and what's better to have it represented in the countryside than the farm animals? And when you consider France, it was full of them, wasn't it?
And saying who made the donation, you do great work, Mel. You deserve the praise. You've honestly got me back into building terrain again after I finished Zombicide Black Plague first. Awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. There's a thumb. Some would say it was a measure of their success. Sheep. It's got to be a bit demoralising for a company, though, isn't it? When you
make all these fantastic things.
Yeah, and it's like a pack of sheep.
How many sheep have we sold this week? It would be a bit destroying, wouldn't it? All the fantastic things they produce. And the #1 seller is the lowly sheep.
Oh. Hey, Will. Hit charity shop for broken toys? Yeah, generally. That's a good spot.
Yeah, I like getting stuff from charity shops. I always go into charity shops. In fact, you can find some Warhammer stuff in charity shops usually. But if not just books, a guy used to come to the Cub got like 6 of the old codexes from a charity shop for like a £5.
Oh, yeah, sometimes.
You can just drop on.
I was watching it when we were on holiday and I went to see that castle. Yeah, they had a second-hand bookstall in there. Yeah, and they had 10 Osprey books at £1 each.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I'm having those! Patron's just made a good point. He says, come on, hardly any wargamers will ever bother to spend money on animals when they could spend that money on tanks or other shiny kit. There's no way it's their gamers buying them up. So you're probably right, mate, to be truthful.
It's not gamers, no, it's terrain making games.
Ah! I think Rudy meant the tape measure is a measure of their success. Come on in, Fred!
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
You're right.
We're going to have to find him a chair.
Oh,
In fact, no, Fred, you can have mine.
In fact, no, you can have mine.
Oh, yeah, wait. Come on in.
Because I've got to wipe paint off my hand now.
Have you got to wipe paint off your hand? Come on in, Fred. Have you just lent in my paint?
I did what you did with the glue. I've reached across the
Sit yourself down, Fred. Right. For those of you who don't know Fred, yeah, you've been on a live show before, but this is Fred from downstairs. He's in the studio pretty much below me, aren't you?
Directly, yes, pretty much.
Yeah, so he doesn't like my dancing. Yeah. We are on that camera. Yeah, we're on that camera. We're good. And what do you call it? Fred's an amazing oil painter. Genuinely amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
But he's an age-old wargamer as well. You used to dabble in your younger days, didn't you?
A little, yes, in the very early days, yes.
Now, here we go. What's that?
Sherman Firefly.
Yeah.
Pershing. Panther. Jag Panther.
One of us.
And he doesn't play World of Tanks.
He doesn't.
Stug.
Stug. Hey, Braggy. Yeah, but Fred's an amazing oil painter. But he's always, I mean, your dad was an RSM, in Royal Engineers, wasn't he?
He was indeed.
Part of the British Expeditionary Force and at Dunkirk.
He was, yes.
Yeah, so, you know, he's an army brat. Yeah, but, you know, he loves, I think, out of interest, you know, when I turned up with my wargaming, because I mean, we sort of got to know each other very quickly, didn't we, when we moved in? Because when we moved into these studios, there was only about 4 or 5 of us actually in the studios at that point. We were a very small group.
Yeah, the early days.
The early days, yeah, when they just opened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it must have been nice when you coming in with the war games. You must have like sort of looked and gone, "Ooh, yeah."
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. It was very refreshing actually, because you know I've always had an interest in exactly what it is you're doing. Because really, you know, quite often we talk about art as being like representational.
Yeah.
And if you look at the word representation, it's actually representation. Representation. And what you're doing is a representation. You're representing reality, miniaturizing it and representing it. So, you know, when you're painting terrain, when you're creating dioramas, you're doing exactly the same thing that Rembrandt did. You're representational. You're representing the world.
Just to clarify, yeah, Fred has been an artist his entire life. He's won competitions. He's worked around the world. He's lectured at universities in art. Yeah. So he knows his art stuff, and it's always nice when you talk to Fred, because Fred makes what we do legitimate in the art world almost. Yeah, he fights our corner from the artistic, because what we do hobby-wise, yeah, it's very dismissed by, I mean, we know the sort of effort that goes into painting miniatures and some of the beautiful miniatures you can get.
As well as skill.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it gets dismissed. So when we get Fred along, it's sort of like, it's really nice, because it's almost like a seal of approval from the art world. Although the irony is, with the way the art world's going, our stuff and your stuff doesn't really get a seal of approval nowadays. I mean,
absolutely,
we'd be better off throwing mud at the wall.
Yeah. Well, everything's up in the air in terms of values. So absolutely anything goes, which is good and bad at the same time. Really, you know, it means anything is possible.
Well, I mean, I suppose it allows me to claim this as art.
Well, the Chapman brothers.
Chapman Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh, they're the guys who do the vignettes.
Yeah, they do
yeah, with the Ronald McDonald. What was it? Was it the 40 pictures of Hell of War or something like that?
That's right. Yeah. They were inspired by Goya. You know, Goya.
Yeah, Goya did the book, didn't he?
During the Peninsular War, he did actions of the French atrocities in Spain in 1808 to 1812.
And that's pretty brutal, actually, when you look at it. Seriously, if you've never... What's the actual title of his work? Is it Horrors of War or something like that.
It's something like that. You know, I can't remember, but it's something like that. He made a portfolio of etchings which were never published in his lifetime.
40 of them, if memory serves.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, 40 etchings. Because I remember watching a documentary on the Chapman brothers, and from a terrainiac point of view, we're well better. We're so much better. Yeah. But they took the style and put a modern theme on it with the Ronald McDonald's heads and stuff like that.
They make it into statements, yes. Yeah. Which they're making a comment about, horrors of war, basically.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, if I remember, I remember seeing some program about it, and it was like how it was capitalism, basically, has forged the horrors of war. And that's why we used Ronald McDonald's head, wasn't it? It was the representation of the Western capitalism world at that time.
Yeah.
Well, all wars are economic.
Yeah, exactly.
Hitler invaded Poland because he was broke.
Yeah.
And the first thing the Germans did when they invaded Poland was went straight to the banks and robbed them. That's what they did.
Look at Iraq.
Blew the vaults.
Yeah.
It's all about the oil, which boils down to economics.
Yeah, it's usually.
If it's not economics, it's religion, and if it's not religion, it's women. But usually, all three. There's an element of each.
Unpainted ladies, we're going to have to get a bigger studio with all these guests showing up. We like our comfy studio. We just about fit on the screen.
You have to get a wide-angle lens, otherwise.
These live shows are becoming a bit educational, because we cover everything from cartography to ground cover and nature and art.
I mean, I'll openly admit that I am a big fanboy of Fred's, because his work and what he has to say is mind-blowing.
Oh yeah.
Seeing the piece he's working on downstairs now, I could probably sit in that studio and just sit quietly watching him paint. And they say, it's like watching paint dry. It's not like watching paint dry when you're watching somebody Fred's caliber paint.
No, it isn't. I reckon, to be truthful, I'm trying to get Fred onto Twitch or something like that, because I think he'd do really well on it. Yeah, but that's a little project between me and you, isn't it? Yeah. Bill's asking question: Why didn't Chindits wear helmets, or did they? The Japanese sure did. Do you know what? Half the time the Chindits didn't wear clothes. Yeah. Well.
Pretty hot environment to wear.
It wasn't actually the heat. The problem was, because it was 500 miles behind enemy lines, they got dysentery moving back out, and because of the amount of rivers they were going in and out of, because of the layout of Burma, it actually became easier just to take all their clothes off, because they were constantly, diarrhea.
Yeah.
And it was actually easier just to take all your clothes off, and if you needed to go, you just went where you stood, because at some point in the day you'd be going through a river. And you could just wash off as you went through the river. With regards to the actual slouch hats, I don't know why they wore slouch hats.
Wasn't it due to the rain? From what I seem to remember, those sorts of hats were so good at keeping the rain
off your face.
From off your face and pooling away. Whereas a helmet, not only will it get so much heavier if it's raining anyway, and it'll soak inside the softs inside your helmet.
Well,
anyway.
The interesting thing is the 8th Army were helmeted.
Yeah.
They weren't slouch hats. They actually had the metal tin rings.
That's true,
yeah. Which and they were 8th Army was India, so it was the same area. But obviously, Wingate, who commanded the Chindits, must have made a command decision that the uniform would be slouch hats.
I'm sure it was on something like I watch a lot of documentaries on history, and I'm sure it was one of those that said that the primary reason was because of the weight.
Yeah.
And
that would make sense.
And it rained a lot as well, so it was hot and it was humid and it rained a lot because it was a rainforest basically. That the slouch hat was much better at dealing with that than the helmet. With the climate.
So there we go. That's what
More
we reckon.
That. If it's not that, it should be.
Yeah, Jez is saying big cheers to Fred. I am monochromatic colourblind, and his info was amazing last time. Well, I've already collared Fred, and we're thinking about doing a little mini series, me and him together, just talking about because when we paint rocks and when we paint rivers and when we do our bushes and all that sort of stuff, we do it based on rocks are grey, bushes are green, I mean, Fred was doing water and he started throwing brown into blue, and the entire chat just went, "What the?" It's like, whoa, everyone brown.
Even the one that made me, I was like, when you were saying about reds, put reds in for the when you were talking
tropical,
and the hotter climates. We were talking about the map. I was like, red? Why in blue? Red? It's purple. How on earth does that work? And then I've looked back. not questioning you, but thought, God, I've got to see some examples of this. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
it's so.
Colour is wonderful things. It reflects the light, and the lighter or the more reflective the surface, the more it does that. For instance, snow. You know, when Monet first started painting his snow pictures, and not many people had done it before, it was kind of like a new thing. He actually went out into the field and observed that on a sunny day, the snow's actually blue because it reflects the blue sky. Because it's white, you know.
Actually, saying that, yeah. Fred had me tint the snow on the mountains of the Fable Realm map, and they looked brilliant. Yeah. The actual snow on the mountains actually looked proper like snow rather than pure white.
Pure white, yeah. Pure white's just like somebody's got gloss paint on.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not reflecting anything.
Yeah, because it needs to tint a colour, doesn't it? But everyone's worried because they don't want yellow snow.
Jez is saying it's that kind of esoteric colour. I can't even pronounce that word. Stuff that helps me. Esoteric, yeah. That's
esoteric.
Yeah, but it's the one that helps all of us, because the challenge we face as modelers and painters is we have no classical training.
No, you look at a colour wheel.
Well, no, a colour wheel doesn't even exist in our hobby, because our manufacturers produce every colour they think we need.
Yeah.
And the best we get, is perhaps mixing, say, a dark green with a slightly lighter green to change its tone a little.
That colour wheel and colour theory, when you try and understand it at first, you think, oh, right, I can do a green with a purple and it will contrast because of this. But it makes no sense, really, because we're not used to it in our real lives. No. People will wear whatever colours. I mean, we know the saying, only see red and green on the lunatic, whatever it is. Never wear red and green.
Red and green never see.
All the time. All the time nowadays.
Yeah, but on models and on terrain, that contrast is fabulous.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the
red and green.
Colours,
red and green on, like, Blood Bowl figures on, like, American football type game.
It's
really beautiful.
Right.
It's beautiful, but in our everyday world, it's like a no-no.
Orange and green.
Orange and green is a really
nice combination as well. I always remember the French Imperial Guard, Napoleonic era, the chasseurs wore a kind of ochre green top, which had like orange piping on it.
Oh, right.
And that orange and green together, scintillating kind of combination of colour. Yeah.
You'd see them coming, wouldn't you?
Orange and green, from a mile away.
Unpainted Lead saying, great to hear you guys are doing a series in the future. Yeah, because the fact is, every time I sit down with Fred, I learn something. Every time he opens his mouth, I learn something. And it's golden stuff. I mean, that water stuff. I mean, I will honestly, it was shoddily done with regards to tuition wise. You know, I'm not trying to disrespect you in any way, Fred. You know that. Yeah, but from a production of passing information, it was quite rough. We didn't have the colour balance right. We didn't have the cameras in the right place. But the information, dude, you've seen my videos. Yeah, but you know, we can do so much better. And the information Fred's got, it's like, when you see what he's painting and the colours he's mixing, how he does it, and how he, there's so much we can learn from this guy. Which is why I'm so keen to do a series, and I'm going to split the Patreon money with him. It will go hard. Yeah, he's a working artist. He's a bit like me. You know what I mean? But he actually believes he can do it. In fact, you can do it. Yeah. I love your artist trousers, dude.
Oh, right.
The walking.
Okay.
Nowadays.
Right. No. Okay, Fred. You're going to have to. Okay, right. Fred's trousers. You can't see them right now, but one looks like a pallet and one looks like a cutting mat. Yeah. Explain. Why have you got? What do you do? Why is that side shredded and that side oiled?
Well, because when I'm painting, I tend to put a piece of kitchen roll on my left-hand knee.
Right.
And I tend to kind of like lean, sometimes put my hand on my right knee to support my hand.
So you're telling me that wear on your trousers is from your elbow from painting?
It's from my elbow, supporting my elbow on my knee when I'm being painted.
That's how much this man's painting.
And the kitchen roll on the left-hand side is for when I clean my brush, and then I put it back on my knee, and of course it ends up all over my leg. Yeah. So I really want to wear an overall. I'm looking for some overalls really to wear, because I keep on wearing out my clothes because they
don't last painting.
They don't last. They get covered in paint and then they rot, and then have to throw them away.
That being said, I have a selection of studio clothes. I have a drawer for studio clothes and I have a drawer for best clothes.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I separate.
You know what I mean? Because the moment you step into a studio, you can guarantee your clothes will not come out clean.
The glue, paint, or something.
Yeah.
Anything you do when it comes to doing, and I'm artistic. It doesn't. We don't grow up from kids, really.
No.
Because anything you do with an artistic endeavour, you get it on you. Even if you think you're the most precise, clean working. Just look at some of the best household painters. They wear overalls. Look at the state of them, and they don't drop paint and they don't make a mess of it. But they get it on them somehow, and if you do it yourself in the house.
The problem is you get into this sort of thinking of your clothes and your rags.
Yeah, well, you don't.
Do you know what I mean? If you get something on your hands, the quickest thing to do is wipe it.
You don't think about it, and how much does it wind you up when you've got your kids at home and they eat?
They do the
and
same.
They wipe the things on their hands. And
I like,
do you know what? Yeah, you're like, no! And then the worst.
Do you know what? Do you know what's
really food comes out of that?
Do you know what's really worse? Yeah, I have probably stood there. Now you've said that, yeah. With paint-covered trousers, telling the kids off because they've got spaghetti and they're wiping their hands on their clothes.
Exactly.
There you go. But you know something? I remember for a short while I worked at the university, a tutor at the university, and my line manager told me a story that he was from Newcastle on time. That when he taught there, he said he had a student there who couldn't stand getting his hands dirty.
Right.
And he said, and it was painful to watch him
one of those
trying to be creative without getting his hands dirty. He was trying to use charcoal and pencils. And
oh God!
Yeah,
charcoal.
He was washing his hands every 5 minutes, to get it all off again and then get dirty again. So I think one of the tricks to creativity is one of the first things is you have to be prepared to get a bit kind of
messy.
It's not only messy but pain. I end up anything I do almost I end up with cuts. Or you end up with paint or glue or
I'll tell you one for me.
Or whatever it is.
Filler.
Just sore
filler under the nails.
Oh yeah, and then it hardens.
Oh, it hardens, and then you've got to get in the bath, and you're there for about 15 minutes trying to scrape it all out.
I end up cutting my fingers if I get stuff like that because I just get the sharp knife and I just scrape it out.
Do you?
It bleeds, but at least I haven't got filler under my fingers.
I have the same problems with oil painting.
John Bilducci saying I wear my work clothes for my hobby. Jez is saying every item I own is covered in leather dye. Jez is a leather worker, does awesome stuff. I'll show you some of his stuff, but he does bags and all sorts of stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah, with the engraving and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Question: how long has Fred had those trousers?
I bought these in Burton-on-Trent from a charity shop. I think there's a second-hand charity shop. So they're already slightly worn. They weren't brand new. In 2009, I think it was. So 8 years. 8 years.
They've had some hammer, dude. 8 years.
I've never heard of anybody wearing out the jeans with their elbow before.
That's a new one.
That's classic.
But one of the things I used to.
Jace organising a fundraiser for a new pair of trousers. We will. We'll get Fred a new pair of kegs. We'll get Fred a set of terrainiac overalls.
One of the tricks to doing really fine detail, if you're painting or you're drawing, is control your breathing. I don't know if you've noticed this. But I used to tell my students, that when you're drawing or painting something with a really fine detail, you need to control the line, or you're doing something really fine and you want to do, you don't want to mess it up. If you remember your breathing, because it's a bit like firing a rifle.
Yeah.
You breathe out when you pull the trigger.
No, you don't.
The trigger. Slowly breathe out.
No, you don't.
Because that relaxes.
Right. Current British military doctrine.
Before military.
No. What's the current? I was trained when I trained to fire a rifle that we were supposed to do. Is breathe in.
Breathe in when you aim.
As you start to aim, you then breathe out halfway, so your lungs are oxygenated, and then you stop halfway through breathing out, and that's when you take your shot. Because you're the most oxygenated, so you can hold your breath for the reasonable amount of time, but at the same time your lungs aren't empty and they're not full.
That's interesting.
So you're actually holding it at the midline, take the shot, breathe the rest of the way out.
I kind of got it half right, but
only people who do like proper shooting will recognise this. But as you breathe, your scope will go up and down.
Yes, it's the same when you're painting or when you're drawing. As you breathe. You can't draw a straight line when you.
Do you know what? When I paint with terrain, I very regularly I stop breathing as I do certain things. Just for that steadiness.
If you hold your breath, then it makes you tense, and if you're tense, then you can't really draw or paint very well. You haven't got good control over the brush if you're tense. You can't tensed up. So one of the tricks to doing fine detail in drawing or painting is, and it's almost like being a sniping, but not quite, is to breathe in when you're looking at what you're doing to assess it, and you're literally taking it in as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you paint or you draw.
So almost like
you relax into it.
So almost like a creative inspiration, then a release of expression.
Is that where that came in then? Is that where it came from? That phrase, take it all in.
Take it all in. Yeah, I'm sure it probably is, because you kind of like I learned this by observing myself after 40 years of painting. I realised I was instinctively doing it. I was breathing in when I looked at something, and then when I painted it, breathing out. And
see, now when I
breathing in and then breathing out. And so every time I breathed out, I painted. Every time I breathed in, I either mixed more colour on the brush, or assessed what I was doing.
That's the thing that most miniatures, because we're painting in miniature.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things is that fine detail, and that's a really good tip, because I've commission painted.
Instead of holding your breath.
And then I used to hold my breath just if it was a really fine line, like you say.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest bit, is just to get it straight, or to get that fine eyeball, that pupil in.
Yeah.
And you do, because you want to concentrate on stopping breathing rather than.
Yeah, you can. Yes, it is.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that.
There you go, guys.
I always stop my breathing when I'm doing a really fine bit of detail, but I'm going to try that.
Most people do, because you tense when you hold your breath.
Yeah, well, you do. You
tend to jag it,
Straight away, your body, because your lungs are full, your body automatically goes, and your shoulders go up, your arms go up.
Tensing is isometric, where both muscles at the side of a joint will work at the same time. Yeah, so you're fighting, and you'll get tremors.
Well, when you breathe in, you go.
Yeah.
And then your body's trying to hold that, like saying, you start to move, you start to tremor, and then because you're holding that breath, your brain's then thinking, you've got to release soon. You've got pressure you need to release. We need to breathe.
It kind of tenses you up.
It takes your mind away. Yeah.
It puts a clock on you, doesn't it?
Yeah. People are saying, well, you should frame those trousers as a piece of art.
You should.
You see.
Do you know what you should do? You should have frame those trousers, not to just frame them as they are, but in the background have miniature pictures of all the paintings you've done whilst wearing those trousers.
Yeah,
that would be an interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept to say. Look,
have that as a card in the background,
but
then have those trousers as the front piece in front of it. And find something like 50 works of art or something.
We'll apply to the Art Council for a grant. They'll like that one.
Instead of Levi 501, you put Levi however many paintings.
Yes, we'll call it the wrong trousers.
Right, Crawley's letters come in. Evening, gentlemen.
Hi,
we're on Zen Breathing Show tonight. We're talking about breathing. We've got Fred in, and we're just talking about breathing technique when it comes to fine detail painting. You know what I mean?
And it's counterintuitive for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue it, because I've seen your work.
Okay, here's one for you. Yeah, Martin, the warrior, sort of said, has anyone else got really pissed when they've been trying to paint a really fine detail and get hiccups?
Oh yeah.
Have you? Have you ever painted drunk?
I've painted drunk, but I got pissed off rather than pissed most of the time, because I know
frustrated.
And it does happen actually when you hold your breath, you can get hiccups.
Yes.
Something with your diaphragm, isn't it?
Right, yes,
and your diaphragm, when it distends or something, it causes that trapped pocket of wind, and then you can't release, and that's why you hiccup.
Did you know that? Little tip for you. Did you know that if you're involved in a car crash,
get the hiccups?
No, if you sneeze, if the cause of the crash was you hiccuping or sneezing, you're not legally responsible for it, because they're involuntary. There's no control over it.
A momentary.
Yeah. So if you sneeze and drive into the back of someone, it's a knock for knock.
Can't you, for a second?
Involuntarily.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can feel it coming.
Yeah, but
if you're driving, you don't have time to do anything.
But legally, if you tell your insurance people that if you drove into the back of someone, and you sneeze, it's non-fault.
Oh, that's good then.
A friend of mine on a motorbike almost swallowed a bee.
Oh!
He was yawning as he was going down the road. He was yawning on his motorbike. And the bee went straight in.
Timing, eh? Nature wonderful with its timing.
Yeah, fortunately he didn't swallow it, but he was lucky.
I don't think I've ever really painted models drunk, to be truthful.
No, I haven't done.
Yeah. One of the things that I have got really annoyed with is sometimes I'll do this thing where I haven't got enough light, but I stubbornly tell myself I'm okay. And then in the next morning in the daylight, and I see where I painted, because with miniature painting, as you guys know, the idea is to replicate, the theme of the army, Yeah, and I did these Tyranids, and I painted the big Tyranid, sort of like Tyranids are like aliens.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Bugs.
big bug monsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Very arachnid. Think Starship Troopers.
yeah.
But I'd painted about 200 of them, and I was finishing off the one sort of boss, this big model, and I was sort of highlighting its sort of bone armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next morning, as I pretty much painted, because it was so dark, I pretty much painted the old bone up just pure white. By the time I finished dry brushing, and the rest looked like that, and this one was white. It was a big difference. So no, I've got this thing now where I have to make sure I've got the right light.
It's the biggest tip for painting. I learned it a long time ago. I always used to think that the idea of getting fine details, be able to see the model with magnification. So my eyes aren't like great at long distance. I'm short-sighted, and I think I was struggling to see the model and what I was painting because my eyes were bad. So I buy those glasses with the zoom parts in them, and you can lift them up and all that sort of thing, and all that. And I've got magnifying glasses, those ones that you can have on a stand that look at, and it wasn't improving. And then I thought, and the light bulb went in the room that I was working in. I thought, oh, we'll get a light bulb. I haven't got one. My wife got a daylight light bulb because she used to do cross stitch. So I thought, I'll just nab that.
Yeah.
Put that in, and then the light difference, and then I could see. It was not. I've got the magnification. I had to take the magnification off because it was actually blurring the clarity, and it is all about lighting.
So sometimes people
Later, Braggy.
Sometimes people do think that they've got bad eyesight, when actually they've just got bad lighting.
Yeah. Well, the lighting I've got in my study now is bleaches sometimes in a way, but at least I can see the detail I'm painting it with absolute clarity.
Yeah, yeah. You can't
and it's nothing to do with glasses or
what you call it?
magnification.
Pagan Shredhead is saying, Mel, there's the daylight LED lamps with about 1,000 lumen. Get one of those for your studio. They're about £5. I've got one up there.
Yes.
Yeah, it is up there. Careful, you'll knock a load of stuff off.
Yeah,
but it's weird. I've got to force myself to adjust to painting with a daylight bulb because I look at the colours and everything, and because I'm so used to using yellow light.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look right to me.
Tungsten light.
Yeah.
I was so used to doing it in daylight. So I went through a phase of thinking, daylight's the best way to paint, but it's not. You need that artificial light. Sometimes,
because the light changes so much.
Yes,
during the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One cloud could do it.
Fred was telling me that studios used to come always. Was it north-facing windows?
North-facing windows. Yes.
And what was the reason for that, mate?
Because it's a more constant light throughout the day. If you in a room with just a north-facing window, no windows in any other direction, then the light doesn't change from the morning to the evening very much.
Because the sun goes over the
house. Because the sun doesn't. It
doesn't actually shine through the window, so it's like neutral light.
So why north and not south?
Because south facing you tend to get more light coming from the south.
Well, if you buy a house,
I've got a south facing window.
When you buy a house, you always ask, is it a south facing garden?
Yes.
More often not, because that's when we're the sun. When it sets, you get more sun in
the back. We get more sun in the back than we do on the front. Yeah, and that's south facing.
More light from the south.
See, this is why I love Fred coming in. The stuff we get from him.
I find the LED bulbs to be really good at the moment. They've replaced my daylight normal bulb.
Yes.
And I buy those LED lights.
Just one second.
Lamp as well,
Insane Commander. Question: what brush should a beginning wargamer get to apply army paint quick shade? Where are they?
If you're looking at standard brush sizes, depending on the size of the model.
I've just restocked my brushes. Yeah, I got all of those purple ones for £2.
Wow.
Yeah, and when you apply, they're for doing nails. Acrylic nails, so they're disposable.
Yeah,
because after you've used them, no, it was eBay. But I mean, check these out. These ones. They're actually blue acrylic handles.
Oh, cool.
They're see-through. So after I've knackered them, and they're going to be ending up in some sort of terrain.
It depends what you apply in your wash too.
It's not a wash; it's the army paint shade. So
the shade. Oh, right.
Unless you're spiriting to clean your brushes afterwards, you're essentially looking at a disposable. Yeah. Look at nail brushes, mate.
It stains. Don't use your proper brushes.
No, don't. But you see, it's actually clear acrylic.
Brilliant. Yeah. That's actually a 0.
Yeah.
But in the brushes I use, that would be a 00 because that's a really, really fine brush.
Oh, mate, we go finer than that. We go much finer than that.
I think the finished brush I've got is an 80.
Let's
Which is almost
show
like-
Fred a Kolinsky.
Oh, yeah, I've got the same ones.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
There's a Kolinsky.
I like my Kolinsky brushes.
Yeah, it's the best sable you can get.
Yeah, I use my prized possession are my Windsor and Newton ones.
Yeah.
I haven't.
I love the Series 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really good. This, yeah.
I haven't actually I haven't actually built the balls up to actually try painting with it yet. Yeah. But have a look at that. That's an insane detail brush.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's actually, if you read the description, it's actually labelled insane detail.
Insane detail.
You gotta love Army Painter. It says exactly what it is on the tin.
Okay. Wow, that's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get even. Yeah. Mine's my lowest. My thinnest is 8-0, but I know you can get 10 and 15-0.
Hey, good. Does Mel have a tutorial on making texture paints for basing? Yeah, we did texture paints in the foam board playlist, mate. Just very quickly.
How do you look after your Windsor and Newton brushes then? I've got like some wax type stuff that's like a brush cleaner.
Master's brush cleaner.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I've used that and it is good.
Yeah, makes brushes last a long time.
Yeah, because it keeps them supple, doesn't it? It keeps them soft.
it's good stuff, Masters is.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, there's other brush soaps that I've picked up and they're just nowhere near as good. Right, Grawley's just quickly asking, how do we identify daylight bulbs? Is it the ones in the 5500 6000 K temperature range?
The blue.
They tend to be blue, yeah, or bluish.
Yeah, so look for bluish bulbs.
Bluish, yes.
They're always blue. If you're talking about a normal light bulb.
And Tamsin's confirming, that frequency is the right one.
Yes, yeah, it sounds about right actually, although I'm not an expert on that.
They're always blue, unless you actually get a blue light bulb.
I personally prefer colour-corrected fluorescence.
Yeah,
we'll get them online. Hi, dude.
Yeah, you can get colour-corrected.
We've got fluorescence.
Sorry, Mark?
No, sorry, I'm also replying to comments and
the fluorescents are fantastic because they give you the brightest, most natural light I found. But I can't fit them in my study. But we used to have them in the kitchen, but we've got spotlights now, LED spotlights, but fluorescents, these ones.
I'd like to go along and replace the lights in here with proper, you know what I mean, tubes.
Colour-corrected.
Colour-corrected tubes. So
just simulate North light.
Yeah, just so I could, because I mean, my light in here is a bit weird because we've got a couple of different fluorescents and then we've got halogens as well.
Yeah, the fluorescent there is a proper bright white light.
Yeah.
Whereas the halogens have got almost a golden.
Yeah.
Put it on camera. Show them.
You won't see it, it'll blare out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not such a bad thing sometimes to mix warm and cool light. You know, so the two kind of like cancel each other out. Some cool light and some warm light combined together, and you end up with
a natural balance.
A totally neutral light. Yeah. So if you put like color corrected fluorescence in above, but then you've got an angle poise that's a tungsten bulb, the two together will kind of like counterbalance each other, and you'll end up with a completely neutral light then.
Look at us!
So if I've got a normal light bulb in my ceiling,
Insane Commander, yeah, mate,
and then I've got like because I switch that off, you see, when I'm painting. Because I've got a desk clip-on light which has got a daylight bulb in it, and then I've got my halogen sort of main beam light, which is pretty bright. Yeah. If I have the main light on as well, it will. It will only help to bring it all together.
Yeah, it would help to light the room even better, and on top of that, it will neutralise the slightly cool tendencies of the LED. Yeah. So you end up with neutral. Yeah.
Amazing.
You learn so much off Fred. That's why I love hanging with Fred. Right, someone's asking if we had any more supporters. We haven't looked for a little while.
We haven't looked for a little while, no.
We have had one PayPal by the looks of it. Oh.
He has already had a moment where he's had to leave the room and have a go for a frag because the support he's had tonight's been pretty overwhelming.
Wow, nice.
I mean, if you look, our current target for his PC is 377. It started the night. It started the night on 471.
It's nowhere near that now.
Okay.
That's somebody put another nugget in.
Give me a second, guys. Yes, we've had a donation. Tim, I'm sorry I didn't check my phone earlier. I'm just.
Is it Mr. Sweet? Oh my gosh. And there's the others as well.
Christian was the last one, wasn't he?
Good God, people.
Okay.
We apologise for not having kept up with it. We've been so enthralled talking to Fred because it's such a Every time I
Sorry,
come, I'm in
Fred,
your presence.
They're a bit emotional, mate. They're determined to make me cry tonight. All right. Right, well, we've got to do our thing, haven't we?
You put the names on, I'll try and do the math.
All right. Right, Christian was the last one we put on. So
yeah, Christian so it's John.
Yeah, right, let's do some names. You've got to do the maths, dude.
Okay, I'll do the maths.
All right, so it is... Right. I'm so glad we've got a scroller, dude. Right, so John H. He has sent in... Yeah, John sent in 10 nuggets for us, so thank you, John. You're going to have to count these. You're actually physically going to have to do this on paperwork, dude.
Wow.
John H. Right. Gary J. Gary J has sent in high CPU usage. That's a new one. Yeah. 24 nuggets. Thank you, Gary. Thank you so much, mate. Tim B has sent in 95 nuggets. You didn't need to send that much, mate. Genuinely, you didn't need to send that much. I appreciate it. I'm going to have to go for a fag in a second. Yeah, and then we've got Paul T who sent in 5. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Would you, Jace?
We've just received £134 in total since we've been talking to Fred, more or less.
£134.
130. Your target's now dropped to 243.
243. We started off the show on what?
471.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well done.
So 243.
What a bunch of people. That's what's great about this community, Fred, is they are so generous and they're so good. Because the Facebook group, I don't know if Mel's told you about it, the terrainiacs Facebook group. There's like 12,000 people on there.
Yeah.
And we've only just been talking about it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
There's over 12,000 people in that group. I think Mel's had problems 3 times in 12 months. Because everyone on there is so helpful. It's such a good community of artists and terrain builders. And it's so good.
That's wonderful.
And it's these people that are on here now that do it.
Well, you know, in my opinion, anything, if you're doing something that completely engrosses you and you completely put your heart into what it is that you're doing, then by definition it's art.
Pardon?
That's what art is if you put your heart 100% into what you're doing,
Yeah.
and it totally engrosses you, then it's art.
Is that what the definition of art is?
That's my definition.
Thank you, guys. Oh, shit. They want a gopher dance.
Oh, yeah, well, you've got to.
I've got to. You're going to have to make some room, boys.
Oh, I'm going to make some room for
you. See,
man.
Fred doesn't know what the gopher dance is.
Oh, you're going for a treat.
Right.
The
gopher dances. Have you ever seen Caddyshack? Okay, there's a gopher that dances at the end, but basically it's my way of humiliating myself online in return for receiving like big donations. Right, let's get the gopher dance on. Yeah. Feet ready? Chuck your arms in. What do you do? I dance for money on the internet.
I'm a private dancer for money.
And this is the gopher dance. And this is what they make me do whenever they support me.
You can put little pictures up in this. You can get like little emojis, like, and there's one that looks like a little gopher. And there's whenever he gets a bit of money, there all these little emojis come up with these little gopher faces. Even on Sunday, we've had such good support in the last 7 days.
It's been
last
amazing.
live show was last Thursday, and then you've had Sunday, and him and Corbin had to do it on Sunday.
Teach Fred. No, I am not going to make Fred do the gopher dance.
It's a gift on Sunday.
It was
£200.
Yeah, it was close. It was more than we normally get.
Well, if you think we started on 600,
yeah, and
we
then
went up to 700,
and then it came down. Dude, I don't even know. Private dancer for money.
Yeah, that's the one. Teeny Turner.
Oh, it's all right.
It's getting hot in here.
It is. I might leave you with Fred Toast show and have another smoke break.
Oh, bless him.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to get some fresh air, guys.
Son.
Yeah, you're going to jump in this seat.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Jason's going to take over just for a couple of minutes while I'm sweating and you know what I mean. I get
You know what it gets like.
You know what I get like. I'm just going to step out just for a couple of minutes, get some fresh air. If you've got any questions on colours, you run the comments. Yeah, if Fred, you wouldn't mind answering any colour questions they might have.
Sorry, not, yeah.
All right, and I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to step out, get some fresh air, and recompose myself. I'll see you in a second, guys.
Right, see you in a bit. While we wait for questions, what's your? I don't know if it's your favourite subject to paint, but certainly it's what I'd say you're probably known for at the moment is architectural.
Yeah.
Is that your favourite thing to paint, or is that just what you find as a challenge? Because it obviously is one of the most challenging things to paint.
It is the most challenging things. But yes, I started off as a landscape painter when I was younger, because I've been doing this for a long time. And nowadays, if I do landscape, it's kind of like a holiday, because I find it a lot easier to do it. You're quite right. Architecture is challenging. I don't know really. I just kind of evolved into doing it over a period of time. I suddenly realised that not many people were doing architectural painting. That most people do tend to do landscape painting or seascapes, that kind of thing. So, you know, that and living in London at the time where you couldn't see any landscape, it was just all houses.
Well, yeah, well, it shows that because most painting is done of organic things, so like landscapes, animals, people,
trees, yes,
that sort of thing. It's not really done of proper buildings that are there just the focus.
Right, yes.
Is it?
I like the contrast as well between man-made and the natural world. You know, so like for instance, tree-lined streets, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's aesthetically pleasing to the eye, isn't it?
Yes.
So if you look at places that have got tree-lined, just places that you live, they're far nicer to look at than like a street that is just pavement.
Sure, yeah, and of course, when the sun shines, you get that lovely dappling light effect on the architecture and on the pavement, which of course is where we get camouflage from.
Yeah, well, like you said before about reflecting the light, the green does come through, doesn't it? It does show through the canopy, and it does have subtle tints to things that soften that grey or that brick.
That's right.
Bring it down.
Yes. Of course, my father was a builder as well, so maybe that
perhaps
also feeds into what it is I do as well, possibly. You know.
Yeah, there's a built-in sort of.
He taught me how to mix cement when I was about 6.
Oh, there you go, fair enough. That's not unlike my dad, because he was always doing stuff like that, DIY stuff, until I was always being dragged in.
Yes.
Let's have a see. Private dancer, go for dance. Where can we see Fred's art? He's got a website.
Oh, frederickphillipsart.co.uk. Hope I've got that right. Frederick Phillips Art. It's all lowercase, all one word. .co.uk. That's it.
There you go. Yeah, it's worth a look on there because the stuff on there is. If you think that architectural painting sounds boring or sounds like it's not, like you say, like conventional painting, let Fred challenge your preconceptions on that, because I would challenge you to say that his paintings aren't beautiful, really. Good night, Unpainted. I was asking the train tutor, what is your favourite thing to paint? Oh, what's your favourite thing to paint on, Fred?
To paint on? I do most of my paintings on linen, which the reason I choose linen as opposed to cotton canvas is because it's a lot more durable.
Right.
It's what the old masters painted on. It's kind of traditional, but it's also a lot more durable. And interestingly enough, it's got a better texture to paint on than cotton. Cotton tends to have a kind of like a pinprick overall kind of texture, which looks a bit mechanical. And how can I explain this? But when you paint on it, you get an effect rather like newsprint. Lots of dots, lots of dots, lots of little highlights of dots. And because I'm an oil painter, it's shiny. All the little dots all kind of, when the paint dries, kind of shine and show up. So you get a slight pixelated effect on the image when you paint on cotton. When you paint on linen, linen's kind of slobby, so it's got like a horizontal thread.
Yes,
which is
it
more
crisscrosses, isn't it?
Yes, it's slightly more pronounced, kind of like weave. And I like that because that way the lines, when the light hits the lines of the slobbiness of the texture of the linen, it reflects the light off in lots of different directions, so you get more diffuse effect from the image. less pixelated, less
Right.
of a pixelated.
Because you would think it was the opposite, because
you would, yeah.
the weave in cotton is very fine, incredibly fine.
Yes.
And the
yes.
weave in linen is actually quite broad, comparatively. If you looked at them under a microscope, for example.
Well, it depends on the linen, but
Yeah.
yes, they do come in various grades. But the acid test, if you like, is when you photograph a painting that's on cotton, then you photograph a painting that's on linen, and invariably on cotton, the photograph will come out with some glare on it, with pinpricks of light, and then you photograph the same or similar painting on linen in the same light, and it just comes out completely flat because you get less of that glare coming back from it because it deflects the reflected light.
Yes, so it doesn't reflect it straight back at the viewer, or in this case the camera.
Sure.
It deflects that light away, which, like you say, is a diffusing effect.
Because of the slubbiness, you know, that slubby kind of effect of the it's like rope-like.
Yeah, it is.
It's like texture of the weave. Surprisingly, again, it's another one of those counterintuitive things.
Yeah, because I was thinking, no, perhaps. I couldn't even fathom why you were saying that linen instead of cotton, but now you've said it.
Yeah, and also you get like lines, you know, like a TV is made up of lines.
Yes,
well, it used to be anyway, the old line system. Well, it's a similar thing with linen, because it's
and your eyes are used to that sort of thing in a screen. Lots of screens are, except for like your new HD ones.
Right, it's all changed now.
Yeah, it has.
Digital,
but like even the computer screen, they're still made up of lots of lines.
Yes, that's certainly true. Yeah.
And we obviously, with our eyes, are used to that sort of input.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Fred? What is the best way to depict industrial from other buildings?
Well, industrial buildings actually can be just as interesting to paint as, you know, people's homes or you know, historic buildings and that kind of thing. I mean, my preference is, generally speaking, to do like historical buildings, you know, things that have got some history to them, like, you know, in places like Venice or Seville in southern Spain. Very, very old buildings kind of fascinate me because they've got a lot of history and a lot of atmosphere. Industrial buildings tend to be interesting in a different kind of way because they're utilitarian buildings, obviously, so they're not being built to look good or to be aesthetically pleasing, but they do have, especially when they're old as well, a kind of like a very kind of like romantic feel to them.
Yeah, there is, because
the crumbling brickwork and the
like the place that we're in now. Fred's current painting is of kind of the old entrance to Spode, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's when you look at it, because there's the shop front there, they've actually got a beautiful curved windowture, haven't they? Well, it's curved to the whole front of the building, isn't it?
It's kind of like a roundhouse part of the building, yes.
And that, when you've then looked at it, and then they've got the sign and these old iron gates, wrought iron gates.
Yes.
And you do find little details as you look around that you can see the modernity of some of the things in the place. But because it was built a long time ago.
Yes.
There's the flair that the architects like to have, rather than just a plain surface.
Yeah. It's amazing how ancient things like that acquire a texture.
Yeah, character.
Which then, you know, if you can convey that in a painting, that texture, that kind of like character, like you say, that age comes through, and you get a sense of the history and a sense of the atmosphere of the place, just by the fact it's not perfect. You know, it's a bit kind of like shabby, and it's a bit sort of like corners are knocked off.
Well, it's like I say, they weren't built for show; they were built for function.
Utilitarian.
And sometimes that speed in making function that often gives you a different angle or a different shape to the building that you wouldn't get in a perfect house.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
In a way. Yeah. That was a question somebody asking how can the best way to depict industrial from other buildings.
Dirt. No, don't care. Industrial buildings aren't cared about.
Yes.
Yeah, because basically. Yeah, no one is employed to make them look pretty and clean. Yeah, it's not part of their function.
It's internal maintenance.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll often find it with industrial stuff where the things that's supposed to work and move are cleaned and lubricated, and everything else on the machine isn't.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, because you spend your time on what's important, and that panel that's on the side of the machine doesn't need to be cleaned to make the machine work. Yeah, so it's no one's priority. Whereas if you look at public houses, people's houses, people have pride in their houses. If you look at retail premises, they have a reputation. Yeah, your first impressions count, and so they clean their buildings. Same with things like council buildings and utility buildings. There's a presentation. So from my point of view,
well, the council building is on show, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a public building.
Well, its impressions count, and when you move to industrial, impressions don't count.
But they only count on the inside.
Well,
you want to impress. If somebody's coming around your factory or coming around your business, you want to impress that you've got a fantastic setup. Yeah,
but I mean, if you look at factory setups, how often do you see a rundown factory and a really nice admin block?
Yeah.
Because the admin block,
it's where all your suited people live.
Yeah, it's
not the dirty people.
Yeah. So if you're doing industrial stuff, dirty it, but dirty the bits that people don't need. If there's areas where people would be moving, they would be clear. If there's corners where people don't use, they'd be full of junk.
It's very strange because it's a very strange Western phenomenon, is that? Because if you look at some places like Japan, or you look at Sweden, or you look at some parts of Italy, a lot of those places don't have some of the factory buildings that we have. They are designed with architecture in mind. They are designed to make a statement, to give not just a statement of impressiveness, of imposingness of the building, but also sometimes as an art.
Yeah, but that's also a cultural thing, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
Because culturally, in those cultures, cleanliness, presentation is foundation to everything.
Yeah, when you look at the Scandinavian countries, they're always into their design. And it doesn't matter what the building's function is, it has to be aesthetically pleasing and more often not built from
the right materials.
From ecologically friendly materials, which in some ways lends interest because some of the materials you can use. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Grand Designs.
I think I have, actually.
That guy who people build their own houses, and those guys, they built it with polystyrene or things like this. These polystyrene blocks that they got that were great for insulation. They built the house out of it and then put like a skimming over the front or something. And incredible things that they do, and all these ecologically friendly structures. And it made it such an interesting house because you can carve it.
Can you imagine? That's in my second home. I've got the hot tools.
But they also did the same with hay bales. They built a house of hay bales and they carved that.
I saw that one.
And they carved that as well. It's incredible, really, because
I was, while we're on the subject, you mentioned Italy, and we're talking about buildings and architecture and old and new architecture, and utilitarian versus residential. I was fascinated when I first went to Venice because the buildings there. Or the plateaus on the Grand Canal. You think, well, the palaces, they were built as palaces. No, they weren't actually. They were merchants' homes, and invariably the ground floor was where they did all the business. Because
it's transferring it on and off the canal ways.
So transport. So the ground floor was like a warehouse. Full of all this stuff.
Not just that, you lived above your stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because that's your money.
Well, now don't you corner shops? Use the building for 2 poops.
So they were actually utilitarian buildings. And we always
you wouldn't think of that when you look at it, would you? Because they're so beautiful.
Exactly.
I've never been to Venice, and I would love to go. I would love to go to Venice, but my experience of it is playing Assassin's Creed, which is a game where you play this assassin. But he's very like a parkour kind of character. He will scale buildings, climb all over the place, and all this sort of thing. But you're on the canals and you're on the boats and you're doing all that around there, and the gondolas, and you get to see some of the, even in the in-game representation of how fantastic the structure is, even of the most basic building. There's no such thing in the Venice of that time.
Do you remember what
beautiful architectural buildings?
I mean, there was
those beautiful tiles.
There was an architectural style in the 70s which was utilitarian, wasn't there, going through Britain? We've still got a few of their buildings left.
It wasn't even before that. It's all these high-rise flats, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. I mean, look at the police station up at Longton. Yeah, that is so utilitarian. It looks straight out of Judge Dredd.
But then if you look...
It does, though, doesn't it? The stylings of it.
I know what you mean, yeah. Very basic architecture, building block.
Yeah, exactly. Function, above all.
Function, yes. So that derives from Bauhaus, the Bauhaus architectural movement in the 1920s, I think it was, in Germany.
Right.
It started, and I don't know a lot about it, but that was like very pared down in the 20s and 30s, very pared down architecture, which, by the way, is very similar to the frontage of the Spur buildings we're in at the moment. That's the 1930s Art Deco era, sort of like build. And that's again, it's kind of quite
Quick tip for you folks.
Square, you know,
Yeah. Dwarves are Art Deco. Elves are Art Nouveau, is it?
Yeah.
Art Nouveau, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, well they are. If you look at the stylized, yeah,
Yes,
it is.
yeah.
That's how they stylize them. So if you're ever looking for elven builds or dwarven builds, Art Deco for the dwarf stuff, Art Nouveau for what you call it, the elven stuff.
Yeah, Art Nouveau always tends to be very kind of like tendrils.
Yeah, it's very
organic.
Yeah, it's very curvy.
Irises and leaves and
Yeah.
plants and birds and things.
It's very organic shapes, isn't
And
it?
Deco is very angular.
Deco's angular, yeah,
and
stripes.
It's more modernistic looking, yeah,
Which is just how dwarves and elves.
Brutalist architecture. Brutalist architecture.
Brutalist, yes, that's the fundamentally utilitarian architecture. Yeah, that's no frills.
No frills. No frills architecture.
No frills architecture. Yeah.
Look at the Lamborghini factory though, spotless in and out, because it has to be exactly the same as NASA factories. Yeah, dirt you don't want dirt in those environments.
Not
also,
in those finely
it's
tuned
high
areas.
precision.
Yeah.
High precision has to be clean, because if you walk into somewhere that's dirty and they do high precision work, you doubt their work.
Yeah, good point.
Well, it's not just that. If you go into, I've been into quite a few factories in Germany.
Wasn't Lamborghini tractors? Or it was Ferrari tractors?
No, Ferrari was tractors.
Ferraris was. I know Porsche was tanks.
Yeah, Porsche made tanks.
Yes. Porsche made the Jaeger Tiger.
Yeah.
I've got a Porsche. Come on, I'm pulling a bird with one of those. He said he had a Porsche.
They built a lot of the engines,
Not
didn't
many
they?
parking problems.
Not many. What were we talking about?
We were just rambling now, aren't we?
We were talking about something now. I forgot what. Oh, buildings. Yeah, I've been to Germany, and then some of their precision, like the Porsche factory. You go in there and you think, have I walked into a Porsche manufacturing plant, or have I walked into a chemistry lab?
Yeah.
Or have I walked into a medical theatre or something like that?
You're right there, Brad.
So, can Nick a bit your water?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, it's his water.
Yeah, no, myself. Yeah, fine. But it's incredible to see, because, like you say, the slightest bit of dirt or dust in those fine engines, and those fine precision, as they're manufacturing those parts, those small parts that mean a lot to a car but mean nothing to us.
It's not just that. It's about the concept of attention to detail.
Wet me whistle.
You need a drink on these live shows, mate, because we just talk. Yeah, but it's also about attention to detail.
Yes.
If you're not the sort of if you're the sort of person who can leave a wrapper on a floor, you're not the sort of person who should be doing that job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that job is the job that requires you to do exactly what you're supposed to do, with no shortcuts or no trimmings or no. You know what I mean?
They want the sort of person that isn't looking at attention to detail. It's almost they don't need to look at the attention to detail,
because it's so
it's
grounded.
so much of their inattention.
Yeah, they would not do anything else.
They don't need to sit and think, hang on, I need to pick that wrapper up. They wouldn't even leave their hand in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't have hit the floor.
And their attention to detail is in their subconscious in a way. It's not having to think about it.
The very first, one of my very first memories was when I was about 3. And my father used to renovate vintage motorcycles. You know, he was in the Royal Engineers. It was his hobby. He used to renovate vintage motorcycles. And he had a 1920s Scott in his shed that he'd taken apart, and the carburettor he'd taken it apart. And I went down there and I dropped a pencil stub in the carburettor.
Oh, I bet your dad was.
I was not very popular for a while.
I bet you weren't allowed near it for a little bit after.
I said to my mum, I was helping Dad.
As kids do. Corbin does stuff like that. I've had a text from Kez. She says Corbin has loved the Army Cadets tonight.
Oh, excellent.
So well chuffed with that.
Excellent.
What part? Someone's talking Asian buildings. You ever spent any time in Asia?
Do you guys have any reference to
terrain? Not hit that area?
No, because I almost went to Hong Kong, but couldn't go in the end. But no, I've never been to Asia.
No, I've never been to Asia. My sister has.
India, yes. Not really over to Asia. India's beautiful.
I'd love to go to India. Yeah, I always wanted to go there.
Oshiro Models does fantastic Asian terrain. He does. And with regards to Oshiro Models, I'm heading down to do a talk terrain video with him at the end of the month. So if you've never heard of Oshiro, lovely guy, absolutely lovely guy. Does awesome stuff. But the same sort of video that I did with Dave Marshall from TM Terrain, we'll be doing one with the Shiro. I'm going down on, I think it's the 24th or 25th, yeah, to spend the day with him. So he'll be coming to the channel soon as well.
Sunday's the 24th.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Tom's birthday.
Ah, right. Well, it'll be the 24th then, I think. But no, we've got that scheduled for later this month.
Ah, so he's after feudal Japanese.
Oh, yeah. Go check out Shiro's website. Yeah, you'll have it nailed.
And not just that, Warlord have just released all their feudal.
Well, they're not Warlord. They're Sarissa Precision, aren't they? And Foreground.
Well, they're selling. Oh, is it Foreground?
No, Foreground have also watched clip.
They've done one, haven't they?
Well, Foreground.
Oh, Warlord do Sarissa.
Foreground wanted me to design them, and I didn't have time. Yeah, because I was too busy doing the zombie board and everything like that. Yeah, I looked out there, didn't I? Yeah, but Warlord is selling both Sarissa Precision and Watchclip because they sell them because one's unpainted and one's painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how
they've got their Shogun game, haven't they?
Yeah. Yeah, the Warlord have got this new Japanese feudal game. It's supposed to be quite nice.
Yeah, it looks quite nice. The miniatures for it look quite nice. Very samurai.
Yeah, I was really fascinated by Japanese culture.
I was. Yeah,
samurai.
because it's so mysterious, wasn't it, at the time?
Shinto.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I've watched a lot of movies based in that time. Read quite a bit about it. I do enjoy that sort of period of history.
Yeah, the Japanese, footnote to that, the Japanese soldiers could last for months and months and months in the jungle with just a little block of tempeh, which is fermented soybean, and it was just like a little block like that, and they break a little bit off every day, and they boil it up in a pan with some a few bits of vegetation. They pull, what do you call it? It's like spring onions.
Spring onions, bamboo shoots.
Bamboo shoots is what I was thinking of. Yeah, bamboo shoots. Yeah, and they can last for months like that.
Well, they used to say, didn't they? That was one of the biggest problems with the Chindits, because the Chindits didn't live off the land; they had to be supplied by air. And whereas the Japanese, they were literally. I mean, the Japanese conquered They didn't conquer Thailand because that was a they treated with Thailand and got a non-aggressive pact and an agreement to go through Thailand. But they conquered Burma on bicycles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, with no food supplies other than, like you say, a little block of this and a little bit of that, because they could live off the land.
Not many people know as well, footnote to history, I'm sure you do, but footnote to history is that they tried to invade India.
In India, and
there was quite a ferocious battle at a place called
Impala,
where mainly Indian soldiers, but some British soldiers as well. English soldiers as well.
Right, I think Fred needs to know my dark family secret. Okay.
Oh, it's coming out, people.
It's coming out, right. The Indians that rebelled against the British, and sided with the Japanese were led by my great uncle.
Oh.
Yeah, so yes, I do know that happened, as my dad keeps going, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. He was a fascist. The really good thing is in Shamnagar, right outside the family home, is the Subhash Chandra Bose, Memorial Park to him, and there's a walking great statue to him. The local airport's named after him in Shamnagar. So that's now the only reason I found this secret out. It's because I was reading the Bolt Action rulebook, and there's a section about him in the rulebook.
Oh, really?
About Subhash Chandra Bose, and I was like, Bose? I'm a Bose.
Yeah, it's a strange.
Dad, have you ever? And I'm thinking, Subhash Chandra Bose. That's the statue outside the house in India.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had my dad in here. I've never seen my dad look so worried as I brought this. No, Mavi, don't speak about him. He's fascist. But this guy, he was a mate with Hitler and everything. Proper mate with Hitler. So I do know that they almost got into India. Because my uncle, great uncle Subhash.
Well, that means basically you've got a direct historical link with history there.
I've got a direct historical link with with the game I play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Theoretically,
we all have in some way. I mean, I've lost uncles and other family in World War II.
Yeah.
Because it was such an all-encompassing thing.
Well, yeah.
How many thousands lost their lives on the D-Day on Normandy beaches? Never mind the other conflicts around. And it impacted nearly every family in one way or another.
Well, it did back then because it was such, like you say, it was a world war. I mean, war still affects people nowadays,
Oh, yeah.
but you know the amount of people involved in war is drastically reduced.
Yes.
There's technology's taken over.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
taken
it has.
place.
Yes.
Tanks, for a start,
Mm.
have revolutionised the way that we look at war.
Oscar's saying, should
And-
you
and
not play
planes
the
and
Japs then,
aeroplanes.
Mel? No,
Aeroplanes
I
and
can't, mate.
warships.
I can't. To be truthful, I fell in love with the Chindits. Yeah, I didn't actually plan on playing Chindits. I wanted to play British Paras. Yeah, but my mate Dave wanted to play Japanese. Yeah, and the only British that really fought the Japanese were the Chindits.
Yeah.
Unless you count like the retreat from Shanghai.
Mm.
You know what I mean? From
Right,
Saigon, and you know the actual fall of the British in the east.
Malaysia,
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
the general fall. But the only actual combat units to fight the Japanese really were the Chindits. They were the first ones to actually beat the Japanese in the jungle.
Wingate.
Yeah, Wingate
Yeah.
were absolute nutter.
Yeah. It's quite a character, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
wasn't he just? Wasn't he just?
Bit of an eccentric, I think.
Yeah,
It was rather impressive moustache.
it wasn't that. There was a quote about Wingate, yeah, I absolutely fell in love with. It was, he often liked giving orders to his officers whilst completely nude, at the same time brushing his pubic hair with a toothbrush. Wait, not necessarily his toothbrush. You know, and that was the commanding officer.
You wouldn't want to work with him, would you?
Well, the thing is, he was loved by the troops because he was the
Yeah.
first one who insisted all the officers do exactly the same physical training and everything as.
Warlord got him as a special character.
Yeah, got him.
They got him as a special character, as one of their characters, with his command group.
There you go.
As well. But they did a little line, didn't they, of about 4 or 5 figures that were all really eccentric characters from World War II.
Yeah, here we are. That is Wingate.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, there. Just a bolt action. The models are on the bolt action side if you want to have a quick nose at them, guy.
Amazing. Yeah, that
Yeah.
actually looks like him.
Yeah, the sculptures are great.
Yeah, they've done a lot of good stuff.
That,
Brilliant. Yeah. I see that even without my glasses on.
yeah, that guy,
Yeah.
okay, that's Joanna Lumley's dad.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah, he was a Gurkha officer.
He was
That's
a
why
Gurkha officer,
that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
she does
yeah.
so much for the Gurkhas.
Oh, no, yeah.
But he was a Gurkha officer with what you call it, Wingate.
Wow.
Their modelling of their special characters is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I presume you've
really
seen-
does look like him, actually.
I presume you've seen Kelly's Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably one of my favourites, if not favourite film of
It's
all
a good
time.
film, that, yeah.
But they did the Oddball
yeah,
and a few of the
Oddball.
gang as a special
Mm.
thing,
Mm.
and it just looks like them.
Wow.
You've got Moriarty, you've got the guy in the fez,
That's wonderful, yeah.
you've got Donald Sutherland as Oddball, and they're sculpted so beautifully that they just do look like the characters.
He even got it down to the toothbrush poking out of his jacket pocket.
Do
mate.
you know what, yeah?
I'm just kidding.
You know, I spent ages looking at naked Celts because I wanted to put a toothbrush in one hand and an onion in another. Because the other thing Wingate was really famous for was he liked walking around with raw onions, eating them like they were apples.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
remember reading that.
And at one point, while during Operation Thursday, yeah, the Chindits were deep in the what's a Burmese jungle,
Yeah.
and they got a supply drop, and it was a crate of onions, and they called it a Wingate special because it was just a crate of just onions,
Wow, yeah.
you know.
Mad.
Yeah, very healthy though, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good for your blood, isn't it?
Keep the germs away.
Yeah, good for circulation. Keeps the women away as well. Can't-
Crawley's saying, have you ever considered Gurkhas? I've got Gurkhas painted up. Gurkhas were actually part of the Chindit forces. The Chindit forces were made up of British soldiers. They were made up of West Africans. So I need to get some West African troops. And they were also made up of Gurkhas.
Yeah.
And then they also had an attachment from 142 Commando. Now, 142 Commando is a bit strange because 142 Commando went from being 142 Commando Brigade to 142 Commando Regiment to 142 Commando Squadron. And what they did is they physically changed the name and the designation to mislead the Japanese of how many they'd actually got. So they'd essentially got something like 800 commandos in a squadron.
Right.
But not just that. 142 was tied into the China mission. And the China mission was this sort of like secret mission to supply arms and training to the Chinese as part of Army X.
Yeah. But Japanese in China. Yeah.
But what you call it? But there was a lot of there was a lot of sort of variation because at one point 142 became what was called a transient unit. Yeah, and it got this weird sort of code, just a load of numbers. Yeah, as its unit designation as it switched from one role to another. And during that role, yeah, there's a lot of association with the SAS. Yeah, so there's a lot of like, it's difficult to nail down the hard facts. And if anyone out there can find me any good articles on 142, I'd appreciate it because I've spent a lot of time actually trying to nail it down. Yeah, but they were essentially the SAS, and they were, what Wingate did is he split them all up. So there were, I think there were seven or eight, columns of Chindits that went into the jungle. And each column had a commando section for sabotage and ambush work. So that's how they split them up. But yeah, there were Gurkhas. On top of that, there were Burmese natives who were working as trackers and scouts. No, Australians didn't team up.
Or was it New Zealand? I didn't think of some. Wasn't there a battalion that came from them that went into?
Later on in the war, but the Australians mainly fought with the Americans as part of the push up the Philippines. Because the Americans had that split idea, didn't they? The Navy wanted to tackle and cause a blockade, and the Army wanted to go through the land route, an island hop. And basically, the US Army, head office, the Ministry of Defence for the US, wherever it was at the time, they decided what they do is they let the Army do theirs and let the Navy do theirs until such time that they needed to make a decision of which one they were going to do. And that such time pretty much ended at the end of the war. So all through the war, you had the Navy pursuing their plan, and the Army pursuing their plan, and both of them being successful. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, buddy. How do you model a section of British railways in the 90s? I have no idea. I'm not a railway guy. Domelish, the chap who carried a longbow onto the Normandy beach. Do you remember him? Have you not seen? Oh, yeah, he was an officer, but he was he was an Olympic archer, and his thing was he used to kill Jerrys with his bow because it was silent. So he used to go out. I mean, he carried it up the Normandy beach as part of D-Day. But during the battles, he in the night, he used to take out the German sentries with his with his bow and arrow because it'd be silent.
It's one of the most effective weapons because not only is it silent, perfectly silent, not only in its application but when it hits, but you've got reusable armor most of the time.
I like the story of when the Allies landed on the southern coast of France in 1944, around the Cannes Riviera area, and unopposed. Vichy France, I guess it would have been in those days, and I think the Americans had that. I could be wrong, but when they landed, they were walking up the beach, and they noticed a lone figure walking towards them, and it turned out to be a French waiter with a tray with a bottle of champagne and a couple of glasses on it, and he walked up to them and said, "Welcome, monsieur. A pity you were a little late, but welcome all the
The thing is, there's all sorts of mad characters when it comes to the Army. I mean, you got Mad Jack, haven't you? The guy who charged up the Normandy breach with a sword.
Yeah. Well, he's one of the warlords.
He's one of the warlords, and he literally, he scared the hell of them.
He's got
You've got the bagpipe player as well, haven't you? The guy who marched in front of the platoon. The Germans didn't shoot because they thought he was nuts.
I remember that. Yes, the bagpipes. Yes.
The railway. But the best thing to suggest for the railway, Max, is go and have a look at Luke Towan.
Yeah, Luke Towan, Boulder Creek Railroad. Luke's the man for railroads.
For railroad, his railroad's awesome.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about railroads now.
The old steam trains are wonderful, actually. Yeah. I can remember them.
Yeah.
Do you know when the last steam train ran as a commercial entity?
No, I don't.
How would you guess? What decade would you guess?
I'd probably guess about 80s.
1980s?
Yeah.
I'd say earlier than that. 70s, probably early 70s.
Go on.
68.
Really? Does that apply to Wales?
They closed a lot of the railway. They closed a lot of lines down. Somebody called Beeching in the 1960s, who was the Minister of Transport in those days, closed a lot of the railway lines down in Britain, actually, which connected a lot of the small towns with each other across the UK. So really, the railway system got decimated in the 60s.
Well, it's the same with the canal system.
Jack Churchill was the man with the bow and the sword and the bagpipes. Did he? Was that the same guy with all?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a hell of a character. I mean, what do you call it? What was? I mean, if we talk about landing on the French, you ever hear about the SAS training exercise?
No.
No, it wasn't a training exercise. It was the SAS were going in, I think, to essentially deal with this sort of terrorist situation on this sort of French coast, and they were going in by sea, and they got the map coordinates wrong, and they hit a nudist colony instead. You can imagine, you wouldn't want a flashbang going off while you got no clothes on, would you?
Oh dear.
The bagpipe player in the movie, The Longest Day. Yeah, the bagpipe player.
The bagpipe player in the movie The Longest Day played himself.
You see, I really do think, yeah, that the British create the best eccentrics.
Oh, without a doubt, yes.
Yeah, there's no
we invented the
yeah, we invented the word, probably.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you see it in the army, and I saw it a little bit when I was in the army. You were allowed to be a character. You were allowed to be a bit weird if you were good.
Yeah, if you're good at what you did. Yes.
If you were good at what you did, yeah, there was sort of like, yeah, he's a bit like that, but it's very British.
Yeah, to be proud of our eccentrics. One of our best and most loved eccentrics.
Let's be honest.
Fry.
Let's
be
honest, yeah. We love the monster raving loony party.
Oh yes.
You know, Lord Such.
We love.
And if you don't know what it is, it's a political party, but we love them. I mean, we very rarely vote for them. Yeah, right. But you know the whole concept. I mean, Wingate himself, he wasn't actually a loon. Yeah.
Oh no, very clever man.
Yeah, but he was eccentric on purpose. Wingate didn't come from a very rich background like a lot of the officers who were military officers in World War II in the British Army. They came from the upper classes. Because we still had a class system back then. Wingate came from a Presbyterian background. His father was a preacher in Wales. Okay, and he grew up, you know, very religious and that sort of thing. But what he realised was, if you want to be successful in the army, you've got to be two things. You've got to be good, and you've got to be rememberable.
Yeah, you've got to stand out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had this thing about being naked. Now I first came across a few sort of bits about this nakedness with Wingate, and I'd originally put it down to the idea that going back to the Chindits and the dysentery and them losing their clothes, it was that reason why he was naked. But it turns out, he's been pretty much like naked his entire military career. Yeah. But Wingate set up the long range. You know, he didn't set up the long range desert group because that's the SES, but he set up a similar thing. Yeah, we're doing the long range deep penetration, anti-infiltration work. Right, have we got some comments that we're missing?
Yeah, just looking now.
Curious, do you guys prefer painting with or without music? What do you prefer?
Sometimes I listen to music, sometimes I don't. It depends really on what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
It also depends on the environment. If there's some ambient noise coming from outside, I tend to put music on to cover it over. But if it's really quiet, I'm quite happy just to paint in
I don't paint to music. I paint to either silence or audiobooks.
I've done audiobooks.
I like audiobooks. I like audiobooks or documentaries. Yeah, but I'm not one for listening to music. I mean, sometimes when I've got a job that I've just got to soldier through, music helps me just keep going.
If I'm building terrain or building models, then I quite like music, or I'll have something on the telly to distract every now and again. Painting, I don't listen to anything other than audiobooks.
Yeah.
Either that or nothing.
Yeah, I like learning, or you know, audiobooks. Audiobooks are good for long drives because I get sick of Radio 1.
Yeah, well, we done that with the kids. We always used to listen to CDs, but now we always get an audiobook. And whenever we go on holiday or we're going out for a longer drive or the day or something, we always have an audiobook in the car, and we always listen to them now. The kids love it. The kids love it because music is very personal, isn't it? What one person enjoys playing in the car, the other three might not, but then there'll be another song that you
Lord of the Rings is great for long drives.
Really
good.
Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, the BBC productions of both with John Hurt are fabulous. And we've
nice one, Gary.
We've just finished Stephen Fry narrating Harry Potter, and that's a wonderful thing to behold.
That's a good.
You see,
Fabulous.
Jez has made a point. Yeah, he has us weirdos on as he's working. This is his.
Yeah, there's a lot of people do their hobby while we're on in the background.
Oh God, yeah.
Because I used to when I used to just watch you until you
before you turned up here and met me.
Con me into coming in.
I didn't con you. You brought your kids in on an open day. Was that a year ago now? We've been friends for a year, haven't we? It was last October. It was the last open day.
Seems longer than that. Must have been.
We haven't had 2 open days. No, because I've only been here a year, and you came to my first open day here.
Nearly 18 months, haven't you?
No, just about.
I thought it was June. Was it May, June?
Yeah, about that time when I moved in, May, June time. Yes, and then it was the September, October open day. Yeah. Mel, do you watch the BBC or war documentaries on the pink television on your desk? No, I use this computer for watching. The pink monitor is actually for the camera, so I can see what the camera's pointing at whilst I'm filming. If I'm working at this bench, then that gets connected via a HDMI lead, and I watch it on that. Now this is quite interesting, because I was recently watching The Borgias whilst watching, which is a HBO series based on the Roman Pope, the Borgia sort of dynasty. Yes. You know, the religious, you know, that bit. But it's HBO, which means there's violence and there's sex, which is one of the reasons I like watching it. Yeah, but I was sort of watching it, and I was just carrying on, and there's this one scene, and let's just say one of the characters was saying, F me, a female character repeatedly while she was in the process, shall we say. What I didn't realise is Dan, the studio manager, was showing someone to a studio next door as my monitor's screaming out. Yeah, so I have to be a little bit more conscious about what I watch while I'm hobbying now.
What's the way to make cheap jungle vines?
Cheap green twine. Throw some brown paint on it. Yeah, the best thing to do is get your twine. Yeah, then get a scouring pad. Yeah, one of the green ones, and rub it. Yeah, just pull your twine through it, because that'll make it fray.
Distressing.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's frayed, okay, you've got to get some paint onto it. Now, the important thing is when you look at your string, some of them, the posher ones, come wax coated. They're crap at taking paint. You want the cheap twine, yeah, the untreated twine, because they will let the brown paint soak in. And between the green of the actual twine and the brown paint, you'll get quite nice vines. Of course, you can use any normal string and sort of do the same and mix greens in, but gardening twine, by far the best. Have I got any? No, I haven't. I've got a load of skulls for our Halloween build, though.
Cool. Oh, yes, yeah. The bag of skulls.
What else have we got? Any other questions? Because we are ticking on now. And all of us, I have the feeling we're all starting to get a bit of a dry throat.
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
That's why I'm going for the
Try listening to Space Psychedelic, as you do. What I had used to listen to before I got onto audiobooks was that sort of thing. What were they called? Air, the French band. They did the song Sexy Boy.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
Their album was, I think, Moon Safari. So really, that's quite, that's kind of subtle.
Most of what I listen to, if I'm listening to music when I'm painting, is electronic music. I like Tangerine Dream, like that, you know, because it's mellow and it's soft and it's not any big.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of the band, perhaps not. There's the band called Morcheeba.
AC/DC, Iron Maiden.
Those things I like listening to when I'm in the car, or if I'm listening to music on my own, or I want something blasting through the house because the neighbours aren't there.
I listen to that sort of music when I'm like, right, I've got 6-foot trenches to do. Let's get stuck in.
Well, that's terrain, though, you see. Yeah. And now building a terrain, I'll listen to and watch anything, like I said. But I used to listen, and there was a band called Morcheeba who were very sort of relaxed in there, even though it's kind of poppy. It's quite psychedelic as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that sort of music.
Which army have you convinced Fred to play in Bolt Action? We haven't convinced him to play out any army yet. Yeah, but he is reading the rule book.
Yes, I'm mugging up on the rules. Yes, I'm a bit rusty.
Actually, on Bolt Action, on our little project we just wrapped up.
Yeah.
Canvas. Yeah. 6 foot by 4 foot of canvas. What's this cheap canvas? Where can I get it from, mate?
How cheap do you mean by cheap?
Right, let me show you.
Because
you're not supposed to look at this.
There's a very good textile supplier in Covent Garden called Russell and Chapel.
Here, have a look at this.
And Russell and Chapel used to be the people that supplied the theatrical companies in Leicester Square and places like that.
This is on a dust sheet. It's an acrylic corking mat. Yeah, but I had problems because it's actually the corking has actually gone through and it's pulled up part of the MDF off the board underneath here.
Oh,
when I'm thinking with canvas doesn't stretch where this has as I've pulled it off. It's deformed a bit.
Yeah, what you've done is you've chosen a
porous,
quite an open weave.
Yeah.
You need something with a tighter weave, which is like more threads per square inch.
Yeah. Any suggestions, mate?
Any cotton duck. Get a 12-ounce cotton duck.
12-ounce cotton duck.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a really good, solid, stable base to. It's cotton, but it's not too expensive. It's about, I don't know, £4 a metre, £3 a metre.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, that's within reason.
That's a metre by about 80 inches.
Guys, if you're wondering about what we're showing off and that sort of stuff, the video's coming out rather soon. But I had a couple of problems and I decided I'd ask Fred because Fred knows.
Yeah. 12-ounce cotton duck will get you there.
12-ounce cotton duck.
Yeah, so it's very, very tight weave.
Yeah.
Won't go through that.
Perfect. Thank you, matey.
It's heavy enough to take some polishment.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Duck as in the animal.
Sorry?
D-U-C-K.
Cotton duck, yes. D-U-C-K, yeah.
Okay. Sent it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
It has to be 12 ounce. Anything less will get too thin, too light.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I think we're going to wrap this up in 5 minutes because time's ticking. We have had you know what? I've had a brilliant show.
Yeah.
Do you know we've done next to nothing actually practical wise, but we've had a really good natter and a blast today. And
I've built 3.
Yeah, and I just want to make.
Bodies on
I just want to
bases.
point this out and make this important. Yeah, this is important. Your hobby isn't about being productive. It's about putting smiles on your faces and enjoying your time. And I've got to say, yeah, between these guys tonight, I have had an absolute, and you guys, yeah, you guys have made me cry.
Have you checked your phone?
Yeah, I have. I haven't had any more. And guys, please don't feel pressurised. You've done amazing tonight. Yeah, so don't listen to him when he starts shouting at you. You need to.
No, I'm not going to have a go at you tonight.
No, because you've done amazing. Yeah,
it's impressive.
We've blown out of the water. And
£234.
I think we've only had a couple of live shows that we've done better than this, and the only reason we've done better than this is because we've had a single donation that has been
the £500.
Yeah, you know, we've had a couple of. I think when we've had like a £300 one, and we've had a £500 one, which are just single donations. But I think with regards to live shows, I don't think we've ever had one as successful as tonight.
No. Cool bunch of people.
Yeah, from all those people on the screen. So
Very
listen,
cool bunch of people.
Have you guys got any last questions? Mel, you do know where Fred's studio is, don't you? Yeah, I do. You know canvas.
You have to get some canvas. Right?
I'm not Nick. I've got too much respect for the man to nick his canvas. And his offcuts are too small, I've already checked. Actually, Fred gives me all his foam board offcuts, it's loads. Right, greetings from New Zealand. Thanks for the tutorials, Mel. Anytime, Paul. Any tips for weathering models on a budget? Define budget. I mean, if you're looking at weathering models, it can be as simple as just mixing up some brown acrylic with a little bit of a flow aid and making a wash. You know, with respect to making your own pigments, keep away from chalk. Chalk isn't a pigment as such. Right. Yeah, not in the modelling sense.
If you're going for pigment, you're better off biting the bullet and buying
pigments.
MIG products do a fantastic one, and they do a really good sealant that goes with it.
They actually do a really nice one. They do.
Yeah,
MIG products
they've done loads now.
They do like a makeup compact.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, where you've got like 4 or 5 different colours in a makeup style and just like a little brush for applying it. Yeah. But they're all good, really good colours. But if you really want to take it to the next stage with your weathering, start investing in weathering products. Yeah, because the results you get. Yeah, you will spend more time trying to do it cheaply and get bad results than spending a couple of quid getting a proper product that will do it exactly how you want it. Right. And you'll end up losing money trying to do it cheaper because you spend so much time and trial and error with different things. And just biting the bullet and just getting the proper stuff.
There are proper products out there, and loads of companies do different things. The paint, I can't remember the paint. It's like an oxidized metal effect paint.
Yes.
By GW.
Yeah.
can't remember what it's called, but it's fantastic because when you painted that on, it gives it a texture, but it makes it look like that ferrous metal that's just before it rusts.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see it, and just before it starts to rust, it's,
pitty.
yeah. And it's brilliant stuff, that is.
Yeah.
That's
Did you know
technical
that?
paint.
Did you know that rust or oxidization is a material's attempt to return to its natural state?
Slow burn.
Yeah.
Anything that oxidizes does a slow burn.
Yeah.
So basically, it's iron is burning.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
and
it's burning in the air.
Rust is the end result of it. Yeah. Yeah. Rust red.
Yeah, because it basically melts. It turns itself to ash.
Yeah.
Effectively, it turns itself to dust.
It goes into flakes and they just powder. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Max, MIG have everything, mate. Trust me, they have everything.
For weathering, they're my go-to company.
MIG is. It's weird, isn't it? Because you've got MIG and MIG ammo. And basically, what happened was there was two guys who ran the MIG company and they fell out. And one went along and made MIG ammo. If you want to talk about MIG and that sort of stuff, to be perfectly honest, I don't really have the knowledge because that's model painting. We don't really use weathering powders and stuff on terrain and that sort of
it's
stuff.
called sand and it's called paint.
Yeah.
Not on a building.
Yeah, we go down the acrylic route, you know what I mean? And
paint
also cost-effective wise, you know what I mean? When if there's one thing, you know, I'm going to spend £3 and I'm going to get some, you know, some things to weather that up. Fine. Yeah, I've got a 6 foot by 4 foot table. I'm going to get some house paint and water it down and put some flow aid in it because it's
add
just
a bit of sand for texture.
Yeah, exactly. Bit of filler in there. I mean, when you're making texture paint, a lot of people say put sand in. Don't mix it with filler. Yeah, it's more variable. Yeah, you can then apply it like a mud. Paste. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The problem with it when you mix sand in, the sand doesn't dissolve, so it's at a set height.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you paint it on, quite often, if you paint it on too thinly, you get like a speckled effect. Because you know what I mean. Whereas if you use filler, you get a graduated effect. Because it's more layers of finer stuff. Yeah. So if you want some really cheap weathering, a bit of brown paint, bit of filler, mix them together. Put a couple of drops of PVA. If you're doing a tub like that. Yeah, say 3 or 4 drops of PVA into it because it just helps it all bind together. Yeah,
that's a natural bonding.
Glue.
I should do a video on that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I should.
Probably. I've used weathering powders a lot because I obviously am a miniature painter and I don't use much other than MIG really. I just find
Roland, does anyone have a prismatic paint for minis like two-tone colours? Right. Someone said iridescent paints. You can get iridescent acrylic medium, okay, which you just add to your paints and they make whatever paint you add them to iridescent. On top of that, you've got things like gallery glass. Yeah, and they're like an acrylic sort of. They were used for making the stained glass windows when everyone got that craze when everyone was making their own stained glass. You know what I mean?
At home,
yeah. I've got some in there, but they do some iridescent ones that are brilliant for painting. They do like a bone ivory one, and it's brilliant for alien Eldar sort of structures. You know, it really is iridescent.
Anything with an exoskeleton.
It looks really good.
There's some pictures on one of them.
But above all, just go and have a look and look for iridescent acrylic medium.
If you want it to be all over in one colour, go to your local car shop. They sell all the sprays.
He already uses iridescent medium.
They already go. They do the sprays of the paint. They tell you what base colour to put on, and then and then spray it. Because I've done it for some of my models. I've got a big Eldar sort of spaceship, and I've base coated it in the red, and then it's a purple and red iridescent. So when it's in different lights, and it works beautifully. It works really well.
Good idea to use car.
Yeah, well, we use them a lot. I mean, Mal discovered some car stuff. I discovered car stuff a while ago, especially for priming. Because we've talked about this, they're all like household paints. The paints that we get for wargaming are pretty new.
Gallery glass.
Yeah.
They're pretty new in their technology.
Go check their
but everything they know has been taken from those areas. Well, how much money is spent on the research and development of car paint and household paint? Compared to this.
Yeah, but you know, it's all the same pigments, just in a different vehicle.
Exactly.
It's all the same stuff, basically.
But your household paints and your car paints are a fraction of the price of these.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I use all car spray primers now.
Yeah.
Priming models. Don't use any other primer at all.
I
like the army painted when I'm base coating.
I like army paint when I'm base coating. I like it for terrain, but I must admit, yeah, for a long time, Halford's grey primer.
Their plastic primer or their metal primers are either good because they do a matte and a gloss,
right,
and they are so strong and so good.
Yeah.
Also, what's
fraction
funny,
of the price as well.
the very best spray varnish I have ever come across,
Auto one.
yeah, is an auto matte lacquer, and it's this stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it is brilliant. It's like the thickness of a gloss varnish, matte.
Yeah.
So it takes some, because normally what you've got to do is you've got to gloss it to protect it, then you've got to matte it to get rid of the gloss.
Yes.
And this just nails it in one. And it's about £9 a can.
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad.
One can will do a 4x4 table with 6 MDF buildings on it, because that's all it took for me to do the zombie board.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one can even did just watch the entire map before I put the resin in for the ocean, because I had to matte that first before I put the resin in. Otherwise, I would have matted the resin ocean.
After the top.
Yeah, which
not the idea.
It'd be something I'd probably typically do if I wasn't thinking straight, but it's not ideal, is it?
And that's a very important point when you're doing models, because the less number of sprays you can use on a model, the less problems you're going to find, because everybody's nightmare is for frosting. I've sprayed it with a matte varnish. There we go, white on it, and you're like, oh.
Well, frosting is moisture in the air.
It is, captured in the.
Captured in the spray.
The easiest way to deal with frosting, is dead simple. Hairdryer in this hand, can in the other. Blow hot air, and then let the hot air carry the varnish. And it will just, you'll never frost.
That's a clever idea. And another important thing to remember is to get your distance correct. Because if you're too far away,
it'll dry
before it hits.
You can see that quite. Like, see that with the base coats.
You get a speckled effect.
Especially with the army paint ones, they're quite thick actually.
Yeah, they are
quite good. And if you're too far away, I mean, that's about as far as you need to be. But people don't make here, and by the time it's hit, because they're air drying and they're fast air drying, by the time it hits the model, you're going to get speckles.
Yeah.
You won't, but you don't.
And that's not a problem with the paint. It's just you're not following the instructions on the tin. All the tins will say the optimum distance for that.
Luke APS.
Yeah.
He did a bit of a video on it.
Did he?
A little while ago about that all these people complain about primers and spray primers and they're all the problem and this one's rubbish and that one's rubbish. And he said, no, he got one from Poundland, I think it was.
Yeah.
He said, look, all the same. Said all as good as each other. It's how you're using it that's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the can. Because they've been developed and they're right, it's how you're using it. And he showed, and he did the video.
Quite often,
video he did.
Quite often, all the issues with spray primers: 1, you don't shake it enough; 2, the can's cold; 3, your distance is wrong; 4, you start off and you start spraying the model. You're supposed to start spraying off the model and carry the spray onto the model, and then back off the other side.
Yeah, sodom pool anyway.
Exactly. Well, not just that. When you kick it off, you get an irregular mix. So the very first spray isn't what it should be.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got to get it flowing first before it hits the model. So spray off the model, across the model, and then off again before you release the pressure. Yeah. Distance is another issue, and humidity.
Yeah,
if you nail those, you'll never have a problem with spray painting, ever. I'll be honest with you, I used to really worry spray painting. Spray painting, whether it was, I don't want this primer to go bitty, I don't want this varnish to go frosty, you know what I mean? Now I'm at a stage where I don't even think about it. Yeah, it's not a concern. Because
distance, make sure the can is warmed and shaken properly, and that's not just like 20 seconds.
No, you want a 2-minute shake.
It says it on the tin, so do it what it says on the tin. And then weather. If you spray in the wind, it's going to be a nasty nightmare. If it's cold, if it's damp.
Don't spray anywhere cold or damp.
It's a pain. It means that you can't spray when you want to all the time, but if you want the results.
But a hairdryer, a hairdryer will basically dry off all that moisture, as you spray, and you won't get any of the issues. So if you do have to spray where it's particularly cold or damp or that sort of stuff, hairdryer as you spray. Get your lad along with it. Get him all the air dry and just point him at the models. It'll warm everything up, and the spray will be carried through warm air.
That's a good idea. Yeah. That's good.
It's just a quick tip, because one of the biggest problems with us is the idea that I can't prime, so I can't paint, I can't do anything. And it's just a workaround to get round the fact that it's damp out, so I can't prime.
Don't spray in your house unless you've got a spray booth.
Or your studio.
Because it gets everywhere. Even when you
we
had an old CRT telly a couple of years ago, which I sprayed some Dark Angels because it was wet outside.
Yeah.
And I sprayed them and I thought it will be all good and I've covered everywhere and it's fine, spray, great. Rachel the next day, why is the TV now green? What? Look on the side, and the side of the telly is all green, and you can't get it off because it's primer. Yeah. I thought, if I use Terps, I'm going to take the paint off the telly that was underneath the plastic will go.
It's Saints asking, how long Army painted sprays and bottles last for terrain and minis respectively? I've been using them for donkey's ages. I've never had
I've got a tin that's been stored in a warm, in a cold climate, in a damp climate. And I've still got tins that are about 4 years old, and they still spray just as good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The main issue you will have, with it's not the tins, paint's drying out over time. You know, they will, but you can fix that. Bit of medium, bit of water, get a shaker on it.
Actually, the most important tip about spraying is when you've finished,
turn it upside down,
spray
it, clear it out,
clear the nozzle.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
because otherwise, then you'll get even worse effects the next time you use it because it'll splutter, like an air.
That is that's something I do instinctually. To be truthful, it's just.
But it's such an important step.
Yes. Yeah.
Only Prime in California agrees.
Yeah,
right. I think I'm going to call this because we are bang on half past. We've done a 3-hour show. Yeah, I'm going to do a quick. I don't think we will have.
No,
and it's perfectly fine if we haven't. No, we haven't. Yeah, but I'd like to. First off, to you guys out there, thank you guys. Yeah, that. But at the top of the screen, that's just amazing. We turned around and said it'd be good if we got halfway by next week, didn't we? At the start of the show.
We said if we got down to 400 this show.
It'd be good. And you've just blasted it, guys. So thank you, and thank you for believing in me. It means a lot to me. That's why I get emotional. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you to Jace. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to stick your head in here, Fred, because you're off camera a bit. Massive thank you for Fred. Yeah, to watch clip for just the conversation and the information. It's a pleasure having you on, mate.
It's been my pleasure. It's been a fantastic evening.
So we are going to have to get Fred gaming, so we are going to have. So, out of bolt action, what army would you like? If you could play any nation in World War II, who would you play?
Probably the Germans.
I nearly said it, but it's the Germans.
Yeah, I do have a German name.
Fredrickson.
Frederick,
Frederick.
Yeah. Right, I'll hit a wall.
I was thinking Phillips
then. Yeah. Should we get Fred a Stug?
Oh, I like Stugs.
He can come join us on Molly and Happy. Thursday evenings, you have to put an hour aside and come paint with us.
These are Diddy Stugs.
The
bolt action Stugs.
Small, actually.
The bolt action Stugs are nice and big.
Yeah. I don't want ones that big.
Have you got the bolt action?
Yeah, I've got the bolt action. I'm just looking for them because
they're a bit bigger than that, actually, the bolt action ones.
Okay, yeah.
As a Stug, but we haven't got one to represent. But then if you look at the size of the models, so that's a British Commando.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a Sherman.
That's it. Yeah.
The scale I used to build them. Yeah.
Sizable difference because that's 28mm and
no,
15.
Give me another one of those as well. The Sherman. Yeah. Put it on there. Yeah, no, it's got to be done like this, trust me.
Oh, you turn it that way around. I like that.
Here we have Mother Sherman taking its newborns out for their first trek. But no, watch it. Essentially, it's twice the size because one's 28mm and one's 15.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the size we play. Yeah,
so
but
this is about the right scale for these.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're 28mm figures. 15mm figures are a lot smaller. Obviously, it'd be the 15mm foot to eye.
Yeah.
That's where the 28 comes from. It's a measurement from foot to eye.
Oh right.
Hats vary.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so everything's always measured foot to eye So when I say it's 15mm, it's 6mm, it's 28mm. That's the measurement from the bottom of your foot to your eye.
Unless it's GW, and then everyone tends to
32mm.
Everyone tends to base it on the size of the base rather than the size of the miniature.
Games Workshop is a rule upon itself. They just change things because.
But they do. If you say their problem is they do. Well, it's not a problem, but what they do is heroic. So the heads are bigger, the hands and arms are bigger.
They're disproportionate.
So they're not in the right scale, whereas these are in the perfect scale, like the heads.
Yes, correct proportion.
The heads are small, whereas a GW head would be as big as that.
So you could get the detail on it. Yeah. Right, guys, I am going to call it now because we've had a brilliant show and we're all ready. Are you knocking on the head now?
I'm going home, yeah.
Yeah, you're going home, I'm going home. We're all going home for a brew and just sit down and what we do when we get home, that sort of stuff, which is probably carry on working, painting, all that sort of stuff.
I will not be carrying on with Commandos.
He's going to do his Blood Bowl. Right, guys, listen, thank you for this. To let you know, you have got a video coming out on Saturday now. Because of the way that things are going, yeah, with family and stuff like that, I'll be bringing out videos on Saturdays and probably doing live shows on Thursdays. Yeah, but I'll let you know more on that. You have got an acrylic corking battle map tutorial coming up.
He's let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, so that's coming soon. I'm calling it almost right. You'll see on the video. In the meantime, guys, thanks for a great evening and thank you. Yeah, and it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from them.
Bye.
Right, let me click buttons because we're not off yet. And laters, guys.